Success begins the moment you decide to take yourself seriously. Most people wait for the perfect time or some external condition before committing to their growth, but real change starts with one simple choice: treating your life and your goals as important. This isn't about luck, talent, or waiting for motivation. It's about the way you act every day, the habits you form, the decisions you make, and the way you honor your own potential. In this audiobook, you will discover how to respect your time, set clear goals, and hold yourself accountable in ways that create real progress. You will learn practical steps to build discipline, protect your focus, and strengthen your confidence. You'll see why reviewing your day, learning from mistakes, and showing up fully matters more than short-term comfort or excuses. Each chapter is designed to help you take control of your life, step by step, with methods you can apply immediately. By the end, you'll understand how to lead yourself with integrity, patience, and consistent effort. You'll learn to commit to your growth daily and take actions that build momentum toward the life you want. This is a guide for anyone ready to stop drifting and start living intentionally. If you are ready to finally take yourself seriously and see what you're capable of, this audiobook will give you the tools, insight, and motivation to begin. Every principle here is practical, actionable, and focused on helping you improve your life starting today. Chapter 15: Commit to respecting your time, choices, and standards daily. Success does not begin with luck or talent or approval from others. It begins quietly on the day a person decides that their time matters, and that their choices matter, and that their standards will no longer be optional. This decision is not dramatic. It does not require an announcement or a complete life overhaul. It starts internally with a shift in how you treat yourself when no one is watching. Most people want better results, but continue to live as if their time is endless and their standards are flexible. They postpone what matters and tolerate what drains them. Taking yourself seriously means ending that pattern. It means deciding that your hours are not disposable and your energy is not free. It means understanding that every day is a vote for the person you are becoming. Time is the one resource that never returns. Money can be earned again. Skills can be relearned. Relationships can sometimes be rebuilt. Time moves in one direction only, yet many people give it away without thought. They wake up and react to whatever appears first. They allow other people's priorities to shape their day. They say yes without considering the cost. They delay important work and then wonder why progress feels slow. Respecting your time does not mean filling every minute with activity. It means choosing intentionally. It means knowing what deserves your attention and what does not. When you respect your time, you stop treating your days as something to get through and start treating them as something to build with. Standards are the rules you live by even when it is uncomfortable. They define what you accept from yourself and what you allow into your life. Low standards create a life of constant compromise. High standards create clarity and direction. Taking yourself seriously requires raising the minimum of what you are willing to tolerate. This applies to how you work, how you rest, how you speak, how you prepare, and how you follow through. Standards are not about perfection. They are about consistency. They are about doing what you said you would do even when motivation is low. Each time you lower your standards, you send yourself a message that your word does not matter. Each time you honor them, you strengthen self-respect. Many people confuse business with progress. They fill their schedules yet avoid the work that actually moves their life forward. Respecting your time means identifying what truly matters and placing it first. This requires honesty. You must be willing to admit where your time is leaking. Hours disappear into screens, conversations that go nowhere, and tasks that feel urgent but change nothing. There is nothing wrong with rest or enjoyment. The problem appears when these things replace intention. A serious person does not eliminate enjoyment, but earns it. They complete what matters before giving their time away to what is easy. One practical way to respect your time is to begin each day with a clear decision about its purpose. This does not require a long plan. It requires a simple question answered honestly. What is the most important thing I must do today to move my life forward? Not 10 things. 1 or 2. When you identify this, you protect time for it. You do not squeeze it into leftover minutes. You schedule it when your energy is strongest. This is how serious people operate. They do not hope to find time. They decide where time goes. Respecting your time also means ending the habit of constant postponement. Delaying small actions creates a heavy mental load. Unfinished tasks sit quietly in the mind and drain focus. When you commit to acting sooner rather than later, you free mental space. If something can be done in a short amount of time, do it immediately. If it requires preparation, schedule it clearly. Ambiguity wastes energy. Clarity restores it. Serious people reduce mental clutter by deciding and acting. Standards show up in how you start your day. The first hour often sets the tone for everything that follows. When you begin in a rushed, distracted state, the rest of the day follows the same pattern. When you begin with intention, you carry that discipline forward. This does not mean rigid routines. It means deliberate ones. Wake at a time that allows preparation rather than panic. Move your body enough to wake your mind. Spend a few minutes deciding how you want to show up. This is not about control. It is about readiness. Another sign of respecting your time is how you handle commitments. Saying yes is easy. Keeping promises requires effort. Many people overcommit to avoid discomfort and then underdeliver. This damages self-trust. Each broken promise weakens confidence. Taking yourself seriously means making fewer promises and keeping them. Before agreeing to anything, pause and consider the cost. Ask if this aligns with your priorities. Ask if you can give it proper attention. Declining respectfully is an act of maturity. It protects both your time and your integrity. Standards also apply to how you speak to yourself. Internal dialogue shapes behavior. If you constantly excuse delays and justify poor choices, you reinforce them. Serious self-talk is firm but fair. It does not insult or shame. It reminds. It corrects. It asks better questions. Instead of saying it does not matter, you ask why this matters. Instead of saying tomorrow, you ask what can be done now. Language influences action. Choose words that support responsibility. Respecting your time requires boundaries. Without boundaries, other people's needs will consume your energy. This does not mean isolation. It means selectivity. You decide when you are available and when you are not. You protect periods for focused work. You limit exposure to conversations that drain you. You step back from environments that encourage distraction. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They allow what supports growth and block what does not. Many struggle with guilt when setting boundaries. They fear disappointing others, yet ignoring your own needs leads to resentment and burnout. When you respect your time, you model self-respect. This often earns respect from others. Even if it does not, you still benefit from clarity. You cannot build a meaningful life while constantly adjusting to everyone else's expectations. Standards also govern how you handle setbacks. When something goes wrong, it is easy to abandon discipline. Serious people respond differently. They acknowledge the mistake without drama. They correct course quickly. They do not punish themselves or give up. They treat errors as information. This approach preserves momentum. It keeps standards intact even under pressure. Respecting your time means respecting rest as well. Rest is not avoidance. It is maintenance. Exhaustion reduces judgment and discipline. Plan rest with intention. Decide when to stop working. Protect sleep. Recovery supports performance. Serious people understand that long-term progress requires balance. They do not glorify constant strain. One practical exercise is to conduct a time audit for a few days. Write down how you spend each hour. Do not judge. Observe. Patterns will appear. Some activities will clearly support growth. Others will not. Use this information to adjust. Reduce low-value activities gradually. Replace them with actions aligned with your goals. Change does not require extremes. It requires awareness and consistent adjustment. Standards become visible in small choices. Choosing to prepare rather than rush. Choosing to finish tasks fully rather than partially. Choosing to stop when tired rather than push mindlessly. These decisions accumulate. Over time, they create a reputation you have with yourself. This internal reputation matters more than external praise. When you know you can rely on yourself, confidence grows quietly. Taking yourself seriously also means accepting that no one is coming to manage your life. Waiting for motivation, permission, or perfect conditions delays growth. You act because action is required, not because it feels easy. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-care at a higher level. It is choosing long-term benefit over short-term relief. Many people avoid standards because they fear pressure. They believe high standards will make life rigid. In reality, the opposite is true. Clear standards reduce stress. They remove constant decision-making. When you know what you expect from yourself, choices become simpler. Energy once spent debating is redirected toward execution. Respecting your time means respecting your future self. Every decision today either supports or burdens the person you will become. Procrastination creates future stress. Preparation creates future ease. This perspective encourages responsible action. It frames discipline as a gift rather than a demand. You can begin immediately. Choose one area where time is consistently wasted. Set a clear limit. Choose one standard you have been neglecting. Reinstate it. Keep the commitment small enough to maintain but meaningful enough to matter. Consistency builds trust. Trust builds momentum. As days pass, you will notice a shift. Focus improves. Confidence stabilizes. Decisions feel clearer. This is not because life becomes easier, but because you become more reliable. You stop negotiating with distractions. You stop tolerating chaos. You move with purpose. Taking yourself seriously does not require intensity. It requires sincerity. It requires showing up even when enthusiasm fades. It requires honoring small agreements. Over time, these behaviors reshape identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. This self-image supports further growth. Remember that standards evolve. What challenges you now will later feel normal. Raise expectations gradually. Do not compare your pace to others. Progress measured against yesterday is enough. Serious people focus on direction, not speed. At the end of each day, review how you spent your time. Ask what aligned with your standards and what did not. Make a simple adjustment for tomorrow. This daily reflection keeps growth active. It prevents drift. Success begins the day you decide that your time deserves structure and your standards deserve respect. This decision is renewed daily. It is reinforced through action. When you treat your hours with care and your commitments with seriousness, you build a foundation that supports every other goal. Confidence grows from consistency. Discipline grows from clarity. And a meaningful life grows from the quiet decision to take yourself seriously every single day. Chapter 2. Define clear goals and take responsibility for progress. Clarity is the starting point of all meaningful progress. Without it, effort scatters and motivation fades because the mind does not know where it is going. Many people work hard yet feel stuck because they never decided exactly what they are working toward. They move through days reacting instead of directing. Defining clear goals is not about dreaming or wishing. It is about choosing a direction and committing to walk it with awareness. The moment you define a goal clearly, you stop drifting and start steering your life. A clear goal gives shape to your energy. It turns vague desire into a practical target. Wanting a better life is not a goal. Wanting more confidence is not a goal. Wanting financial stability is not a goal. These are feelings and outcomes, not directions. A goal must answer 3 simple questions. What exactly do I want to improve? Why does it matter to me personally? What action proves I am moving toward it? When these questions are answered honestly, the mind stops resisting and starts cooperating. Many people avoid clarity because it creates responsibility. As long as goals remain vague, failure can be blamed on circumstances. The moment a goal is defined, excuses lose power. Progress becomes measurable. Responsibility becomes unavoidable. This is why defining goals feels uncomfortable at first. It removes the safety of ambiguity. Taking yourself seriously means accepting that discomfort and choosing truth over comfort. Responsibility is the bridge between intention and results. Without it, goals remain words. Responsibility does not mean self-criticism or pressure. It means ownership. It means recognizing that no one else can carry your progress for you. Advice can be given, support can be offered, opportunities can appear, but action remains personal. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting to be saved by timing or luck or approval. You begin acting as the primary force in your own life. A responsible person does not blame circumstances for lack of progress. They study circumstances and adjust. They do not complain about time, they plan better. They do not complain about energy, they manage habits. They do not complain about motivation, they rely on discipline. This mindset changes how problems are viewed. Challenges become signals, not obstacles. Each difficulty points to a skill that needs strengthening or a decision that needs correction. Clear goals require honesty about where you are starting. Many people set goals disconnected from their current reality. They aim too high too fast and then quit when results do not appear. Serious growth respects truth. You assess your skills, habits, and resources without judgment. This assessment is not a limitation. It is a foundation. Progress built on reality lasts longer than progress built on fantasy. A practical way to define goals is to focus on direction rather than outcome alone. Outcomes motivate, but processes sustain. Instead of saying, "I want to be successful," decide what successful behavior looks like daily. Decide how many focused hours you will give to learning or building. Decide how often you will review progress. When goals are tied to behavior, responsibility becomes clear. You know exactly what is required today, not someday. Taking responsibility also means tracking progress. What is not measured is easily ignored. Measurement does not need to be complex. Simple weekly reviews are enough. Ask what actions were completed, what was avoided, and why. This reflection is not about judgment. It is about awareness. Awareness leads to correction. Correction leads to growth. Without review, days blend together and weeks pass unnoticed. Many people fear responsibility because they associate it with pressure. In reality, responsibility reduces anxiety. When you know what you are responsible for, you stop carrying unnecessary mental weight. You stop worrying about everything and focus on what you can influence. This creates calm focus. It replaces scattered effort with directed action. Clear goals also help you say no. When direction is defined, decisions become easier. Opportunities that do not align lose appeal. Distractions become obvious. You stop wasting time on activities that feel busy but lead nowhere. This does not make life rigid. It makes it intentional. Responsibility includes accepting slow progress. Growth rarely follows a straight line. Some weeks results are visible. Other weeks feel stagnant. A responsible person does not abandon the process during slow periods. They continue because commitment is not based on immediate reward. They trust accumulation. They understand that small actions repeated daily create outcomes that appear suddenly but are built gradually. It is important to separate responsibility from control. You are responsible for effort, not outcomes. External factors influence results. Markets change, people react unpredictably, health fluctuates. Taking responsibility does not mean controlling everything. It means controlling your response. You show up prepared. You adjust strategy. You maintain standards. Peace comes from knowing you did your part regardless of outcome. Another key aspect of responsibility is ending the habit of self-deception. Many claim goals they are not willing to work for. They say health matters but neglect movement. They say growth matters but avoid learning. Responsibility requires alignment between words and behavior. When actions contradict stated goals, the goal must be questioned or behavior must change. Honest alignment restores integrity. Goals should evolve as understanding grows. Holding on to outdated goals out of pride wastes energy. Responsibility includes reassessment. If a goal no longer fits values or reality, it can be adjusted. This is not quitting, it is refining direction. Serious people are flexible with methods but firm with principles. A useful daily practice is to ask one question each morning. What is one action today that directly supports my goal? This focuses attention. It prevents overwhelm. One meaningful action completed daily compounds quickly. Progress becomes visible. Confidence strengthens because effort is consistent. Avoid comparing progress to others. Comparison distorts responsibility. It shifts focus from personal standards to external validation. Your pace is shaped by your circumstances. Measure progress against your past behavior. Improvement is personal. Responsibility is internal. When setbacks occur, take responsibility without drama. Do not explain excessively. Do not justify. Identify the cause, adjust the approach, continue. Emotional reactions waste energy. Calm correction preserves momentum. Defining goals also includes defining limits. Decide what you will no longer tolerate. Decide what behaviors undermine progress. Remove them gradually. Responsibility is as much about subtraction as addition. Fewer distractions create space for focus. Over time, clear goals and consistent responsibility create trust within yourself. You become someone who follows through. This internal trust is powerful. It reduces self-doubt. It increases confidence in future plans. You stop questioning your ability to commit because evidence accumulates daily. Progress feels different when responsibility is accepted. Effort feels purposeful rather than forced. Discipline feels supportive rather than restrictive. You move from hoping for change to creating it deliberately. Success begins when goals are defined clearly and responsibility is accepted fully. Not someday, not when conditions improve, but now with what you have. This choice transforms effort into direction and direction into results. When you stop outsourcing responsibility and start owning progress, your life begins to move forward with clarity and strength. Chapter 30: Build discipline through small, consistent actions every day. Discipline is often misunderstood as force or punishment, but in reality, it is a quiet agreement you keep with yourself every day. It is not built in moments of intensity or bursts of motivation. It is built through small actions repeated consistently even when they feel ordinary. Most people wait to feel ready before they act. Disciplined people act first and allow readiness to follow. This difference shapes outcomes over time. Small, consistent actions may feel insignificant in the moment, but they are the only reliable way discipline is formed. The mind naturally resists effort that feels uncomfortable or unrewarded. It prefers ease and familiarity. Discipline trains the mind to move forward despite that resistance. This training does not happen through extreme routines or sudden lifestyle changes. Those approaches often collapse under pressure. Discipline grows when actions are small enough to repeat and meaningful enough to matter. When consistency becomes normal, discipline stops feeling heavy and starts feeling natural. Many people fail to build discipline because they expect immediate results. When change does not appear quickly, they assume the method is wrong. In truth, discipline works quietly. Its effects appear later, but last longer. Each small action strengthens a habit. Each habit reinforces identity. Over time, behavior shifts without constant effort. This is how real discipline forms. Consistency matters more than intensity. A single productive day does not change a life. A pattern of steady effort does. Doing a little every day keeps momentum alive. It reduces the mental barrier to starting. When actions are small, the mind offers less resistance. This makes it easier to show up again tomorrow. Over weeks and months, this reliability compounds into strength. Discipline also depends on clarity. You must know exactly what action you are committing to. Vague intentions weaken consistency. Clear actions strengthen it. Decide what you will do daily and define it simply. This could be a focused work period, a learning session, a physical practice, or a planning habit. The action must be specific enough to complete without negotiation. Another key to discipline is removing friction. When actions require excessive preparation, they are easier to avoid. Simplify the process. Prepare tools in advance. Set reminders. Reduce choices. Discipline thrives in environments that support it. You do not rely on willpower alone. You design conditions that make follow-through easier. Many people believe discipline means forcing yourself to do things you hate. In reality, discipline often involves choosing actions that align with long-term goals rather than short-term comfort. It is not about suffering. It is about direction. When actions are connected to purpose, they become easier to repeat. Purpose provides meaning. Meaning sustains effort. Discipline is strengthened when actions are completed regardless of mood. Waiting for motivation creates inconsistency. Acting despite fluctuating feelings builds reliability. Emotions change daily. Discipline remains steady. When you act even on low-energy days, you prove to yourself that progress does not depend on feeling inspired. Tracking small actions reinforces discipline. When effort is recorded, it becomes visible. This visibility creates satisfaction. It reminds you that progress is happening even when results are subtle. Simple tracking builds accountability. It keeps attention on behavior rather than outcome. Discipline also grows through self-respect. Each time you complete a small commitment, you strengthen trust in yourself. Each time you avoid it, you weaken that trust. This internal relationship matters. Confidence is not built through positive thinking. It is built through evidence. Consistent action provides that evidence. Avoid trying to change everything at once. Multiple new habits create overload. Focus on one or two actions that have the highest impact. Master consistency there before expanding. Discipline built slowly is more stable than discipline forced quickly. Rest is part of discipline. Without recovery, consistency breaks down. Discipline does not mean constant effort. It means balanced effort. Know when to stop. Plan rest deliberately. This preserves energy and prevents burnout. Discipline also requires patience. Results often lag behind effort. This delay discourages many people. Accept the delay as part of the process. Continue anyway. Trust accumulation. Progress often becomes visible suddenly after long periods of quiet work. When discipline slips, respond calmly. Missed actions happen. What matters is returning quickly. Avoid all or nothing thinking. One missed day does not erase progress. Resume immediately. Discipline is maintained through resilience, not perfection. Daily consistency reshapes identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. This identity reinforces behavior. Discipline becomes self-sustaining. Effort decreases as habits solidify. Small actions also protect discipline during difficult times. When energy is low, large tasks feel impossible. Small actions remain manageable. Completing them maintains momentum and confidence. This prevents stagnation during challenging periods. Discipline grows when actions are linked to routine. Attach new habits to existing behaviors. This creates automaticity. Automatic actions require less decision-making. Reduced decision-making conserves energy. Discipline is not about restriction. It is about freedom. Consistent action creates options. It builds skills, resources, and confidence. Over time, disciplined effort expands choice. Lack of discipline narrows it. Avoid comparing your discipline to others. Focus on your own consistency. Progress is personal. Discipline is built at different speeds depending on circumstances. Measure success by reliability, not volume. As days pass, small actions accumulate, skills improve, focus sharpens, confidence stabilizes. What once required effort becomes habit. This is the quiet power of consistency. Discipline is not a personality trait. It is a skill developed through repetition. Anyone can build it. It requires willingness to start small and commitment to continue. Success is built daily, not through dramatic changes, but through consistent behavior. Each small action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, these votes create identity and outcomes. Building discipline through small, consistent actions is the most reliable path to long-term growth. It removes dependence on motivation. It creates structure. It strengthens self-trust. When discipline is built this way, progress becomes inevitable. Chapter 40. Establish routines that support focus, energy, and growth. A routine is not a cage, and it is not a rigid schedule meant to control every minute of your day. A routine is a structure that protects your energy and directs your attention toward what matters most. Without routines, the mind spends most of its strength deciding what to do next. Decision fatigue slowly drains focus and leaves little energy for meaningful work. Establishing routines removes unnecessary decisions and replaces chaos with rhythm. This rhythm allows focus to deepen and growth to happen steadily. Most people underestimate how much mental energy is wasted each day on simple choices. When to start working, what to work on first, when to rest, when to stop. Each decision pulls from the same limited reserve. By the time important work appears, the reserve is already low. Routines solve this problem quietly. They decide in advance so you do not have to. This creates space for concentration and reduces internal resistance. A strong routine begins with awareness of energy. Energy is not constant throughout the day. It rises and falls in patterns. Ignoring these patterns leads to frustration. Fighting low energy periods wastes effort. Working with energy restores effectiveness. A routine respects these natural cycles. It places demanding tasks during peak energy hours and lighter tasks when focus is lower. This alignment increases output without increasing strain. Morning routines are powerful because they set direction before distractions appear. The way you begin often determines the quality of what follows. Starting the day without intention invites external demands to take control. A routine creates a buffer between waking and reacting. This buffer allows you to decide how you want to show up. It anchors the mind before noise enters. A productive morning routine does not need complexity. It needs consistency. Waking at a stable time. Preparing the body enough to feel alert. Reviewing priorities briefly. Beginning the most important task before consuming information. These simple actions build momentum. Momentum carries focus forward. Evening routines matter just as much. Ending the day without closure leaves the mind restless. Thoughts linger. Sleep quality suffers. A routine that signals closure helps the mind release tension. Reviewing the day briefly. Preparing for tomorrow. Choosing a clear stopping point. These actions reduce mental clutter and protect recovery. Routines also support growth by making improvement automatic. When learning is scheduled regularly, it becomes part of life rather than an occasional effort. Growth requires exposure, repetition, and reflection. Routines create space for all three. They turn improvement into a habit rather than a project. Many people resist routines because they fear boredom. They associate routine with dullness. In reality, routines reduce boredom by creating progress. When days have structure, effort produces visible results. Progress creates satisfaction. Satisfaction sustains motivation. Routines also protect focus by limiting distractions. When you know what you should be doing at a given time, distractions lose power. Uncertainty invites interruption. Clarity repels it. A routine gives clarity. It tells you where attention belongs. Designing a routine requires honesty. You must consider your current habits, not your ideal self. Routines built on unrealistic expectations collapse quickly. Start with what is manageable. Build gradually. Consistency matters more than ambition. A useful approach is to anchor routines to existing behaviors. Attach new actions to actions already established. This reduces friction. The mind accepts change more easily when it feels connected rather than imposed. Flexibility is important. A routine should support life, not fight it. Unexpected events happen. Energy fluctuates. When routines are too rigid, they break under pressure. When they allow adjustment, they endure. The goal is direction, not perfection. Routines also serve as a form of self-respect. When you protect time for focused work, learning, and rest, you send a message to yourself that growth matters. This message reinforces identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes. A routine does not need to fill the entire day. A few strong anchors are enough. One focused work block, one learning session, one reflection period. These anchors hold the day together. The rest can remain flexible. Routines help during difficult periods. When motivation drops, routines carry you forward. You do not need to decide whether to act. You simply follow the structure. This prevents stagnation and preserves progress during low motivation phases. Growth routines should include review. Regular reflection prevents drift. It allows adjustment. Without review, routines can become mechanical. Reflection keeps them purposeful. Energy management is central to effective routines. Protect sleep. Schedule breaks. Avoid constant stimulation. Recovery restores focus. Without recovery, routines become draining. With recovery, they become sustainable. Focus improves when routines reduce context switching. Switching tasks frequently fragments attention. Routines group similar tasks together. This deepens concentration and improves quality of work. Routines also reduce anxiety. Predictability creates calm. When you know what comes next, uncertainty decreases. This mental stability supports creativity and problem solving. Avoid copying routines from others blindly. What works for one person may not suit another. Build routines around your responsibilities, energy levels, and goals. Personal alignment increases adherence. As routines stabilize, you will notice a shift. Starting becomes easier. Distractions feel less tempting. Energy lasts longer. Growth feels steady rather than forced. Routines are not about controlling life. They are about supporting it. They provide a foundation upon which effort can rest. Without that foundation, effort collapses under stress. Establish routines that serve focus, energy, and growth by keeping them simple, realistic, and aligned with your values. Adjust them as life changes. Protect them without becoming rigid. Over time, these routines will shape your days, and your days will shape your life. Success grows quietly through structure. When routines support what matters, focus sharpens, energy stabilizes, and growth becomes part of daily life rather than a distant goal. Chapter 50. Practice self-honesty when evaluating habits, decisions, and results. Self-honesty is one of the hardest disciplines to practice because it removes comfort without creating noise. It does not announce itself. It does not praise or punish. It simply shows things as they are. Many people avoid this practice because truth interrupts stories they tell themselves. Stories feel safe. Truth demands change. Yet without self-honesty, growth becomes impossible because improvement requires accuracy. You cannot correct what you refuse to see. Most people do not lie to others as much as they lie to themselves. They soften failures. They exaggerate effort. They blame timing, conditions, or other people. This is rarely intentional. It is often a habit formed to protect self-image. The mind prefers feeling good now over growing later. Self-honesty asks you to choose growth over comfort. It asks you to look directly at habits, decisions, and results without distortion. Habits reveal priorities more clearly than words. What you do repeatedly shows what truly matters to you. Self-honesty begins by observing habits without judgment, not labeling them as good or bad, just seeing them clearly. How often you delay important tasks, how you respond when plans fail, how you use free time. These patterns tell the truth about direction. Avoiding this observation keeps you blind to your own behavior. Decisions shape habits, and habits shape results. When results disappoint, many people skip directly to frustration. They feel discouraged without understanding the cause. Self-honesty slows this reaction. It asks what decisions led here. It asks what was avoided. It asks what was prioritized instead. These questions are uncomfortable but necessary. They replace confusion with clarity. Being honest with yourself does not mean harsh self-criticism. Criticism creates defensiveness. Defensiveness blocks learning. Self-honesty is calm and direct. It acknowledges reality without emotion. It says, this is what happened and this is why. From there, change becomes possible. When honesty is neutral, it becomes useful. A common obstacle to self-honesty is comparison. When you measure yourself against others, you distort perception. You either inflate your effort to protect ego or diminish it to excuse inaction. Self-honesty focuses inward. It compares actions to intentions. It asks whether behavior aligns with values. This internal comparison is far more accurate. Self-honesty also requires separating effort from outcome. Many believe trying hard excuses poor results. Effort matters, but results reflect effectiveness. If effort is high and results are low, something needs adjustment. Self-honesty accepts this without defensiveness. It looks for better methods rather than more excuses. Another barrier is justification. Justifications sound reasonable. They explain why something could not be done. They often contain truth. The problem is not that they are false. The problem is that they end the conversation. Once justified, behavior is no longer questioned. Self-honesty allows explanation but continues inquiry. It asks what could be done differently next time. Evaluating habits honestly means noticing patterns, not isolated events. One missed action means little. Repeated avoidance means something. Look at frequency. Look at consistency. Patterns reveal character development. Change requires addressing patterns, not moments. Decisions are often made quickly and reviewed rarely. Self-honesty brings review back into the process. It encourages you to pause after decisions and observe outcomes. Did this decision move you closer to your goal? Did it protect energy or drain it? Did it align with standards or compromise them? This reflection builds wisdom. Without reflection, decisions repeat without improvement. Results are feedback, not judgment. Many people take results personally. Success inflates ego. Failure damages confidence. Self-honesty reframes results as information. Information guides adjustment. When results are neutralized emotionally, learning accelerates. One practical way to practice self-honesty is through written reflection. Writing slows thinking. It exposes contradictions. It removes vague language. When you write what you did and why, it becomes harder to deceive yourself. Keep reflection simple. What was planned? What happened? What interfered? What will change? Another practice is asking better questions. Instead of asking, "Why am I like this?" ask, "What behavior led here?" Instead of asking, "Why is this hard?" ask, "What am I avoiding?" These questions focus on action rather than identity. They lead to solutions rather than shame. Self-honesty strengthens discipline. When you acknowledge inconsistency, you can correct it. When you deny it, inconsistency grows. Discipline depends on awareness. Awareness depends on honesty. Many fear self-honesty because they believe it will damage confidence. In reality, false confidence collapses under pressure. Honest confidence grows slowly but lasts. When you know your strengths and weaknesses accurately, you make better choices. You stop overcommitting. You stop underestimating. You act within reality. Self-honesty also improves relationships. When you understand your own patterns, you communicate more clearly. You take responsibility rather than shifting blame. This builds trust. Integrity begins internally before it appears externally. Another aspect of self-honesty is acknowledging progress. Some people focus only on flaws. This is also dishonest. Growth includes recognizing improvement. Honest evaluation sees both effort and gaps. It celebrates consistency without ignoring shortcomings. Avoid labeling yourself based on temporary behavior. Self-honesty separates identity from action. You are not lazy because you delayed a task. You delayed a task because of a specific reason. Identifying the reason allows change. Labeling yourself shuts it down. Practicing self-honesty daily prevents self-betrayal. Small lies accumulate into large misalignment. Daily truth keeps alignment intact. Ask yourself simple questions. Did I do what I said I would do? If not, why? What will I adjust tomorrow? This practice becomes easier with repetition. The first honest reflections may feel uncomfortable. Over time, discomfort fades. Clarity replaces it. Clarity brings calm. Self-honesty is a form of respect. It treats you as capable of handling truth. It assumes you can improve. Avoiding truth assumes fragility. Embracing truth assumes strength. Growth requires accurate self-assessment. Without it, effort is misdirected. Self-honesty aligns effort with reality. It directs energy where it matters. Success is built on correction. Correction requires truth. When you practice self-honesty in evaluating habits, decisions, and results, you gain control over direction. You stop repeating mistakes unknowingly. You stop hoping for change and start guiding it. This practice does not require perfection. It requires courage. Courage to look clearly. Courage to adjust. Courage to continue. Taking yourself seriously means telling yourself the truth consistently, not to judge, not to impress, but to grow. When honesty becomes habit, progress becomes inevitable. Chapter 6e. Strengthen confidence by keeping promises you make yourself. Confidence is not something you convince yourself into believing. It is something you earn through evidence. The strongest and most reliable source of confidence comes from a simple place that many people overlook. It comes from keeping the promises you make to yourself, not the promises announced to others. Not the goals written to impress. The quiet commitments made internally and honored through action. When those promises are kept consistently, confidence grows naturally without effort or affirmation. Every promise you make to yourself is a test of self-trust. When you follow through, you pass the test. When you avoid or delay, you fail it. Over time, these results accumulate into a belief system about who you are. If you repeatedly break promises, your mind learns that your words are unreliable. Doubt appears. Hesitation grows. If you repeatedly keep them, your mind learns that you are dependable. Confidence becomes stable and calm rather than loud or fragile. Many people try to build confidence through positive thinking or external validation. These methods create temporary relief, but not lasting strength. Confidence built this way depends on mood or approval. Confidence built through kept promises depends on behavior. Behavior is under your control. This makes it a stronger foundation. The problem often begins with unrealistic promises. People promise themselves too much too quickly. They aim high without considering consistency. When these promises are broken repeatedly, confidence erodes. The solution is not to stop making promises. It is to make better ones. Promises should be small enough to keep and meaningful enough to matter. A promise is not a wish. It is an agreement. When you say you will do something and then do not, your mind records that outcome. It does not analyze intention. It records behavior. Over time, these records form identity. You either become someone who follows through or someone who explains why they could not. Strengthening confidence begins with choosing promises carefully. Do not promise what depends on perfect conditions. Promise what depends on effort. Instead of promising a result, promise a process. Instead of promising intensity, promise consistency. This shift increases reliability. Keeping promises to yourself requires clarity. Vague commitments are easy to avoid. Clear commitments demand action. Decide exactly what you will do and when. Remove ambiguity. Ambiguity weakens follow-through. Precision strengthens it. Another obstacle is emotional negotiation. The mind looks for reasons to delay when discomfort appears. It offers rational explanations. Keeping promises requires recognizing this pattern without arguing with it. You do not need to defeat discomfort. You need to act despite it. Action weakens resistance faster than reasoning. Confidence grows when you act even on ordinary days. Anyone can act when motivation is high. Confidence is built when action continues, when motivation fades. This proves to yourself that you are not dependent on feelings. Dependability creates confidence. Broken promises do not require self-punishment. They require correction. The danger is not failure. The danger is normalization of failure. When broken promises become acceptable, confidence declines. When correction follows quickly, confidence recovers. One way to strengthen follow-through is to reduce the gap between decision and action. The longer the delay, the more resistance grows. Act as soon as possible. Momentum supports consistency. Another method is tracking promises kept. Visible evidence reinforces belief. Seeing progress recorded builds pride. Pride strengthens confidence. This pride is quiet and grounded because it is based on truth. Confidence also grows through self-respect. When you keep promises, you signal that your intentions matter. You stop treating your goals casually. This seriousness influences behavior across areas of life. Many people overcommit to impress their future self. They imagine having more time or energy. This leads to broken promises. Confidence grows when promises respect current reality. Honest commitments produce consistent wins. Consistent wins build confidence faster than occasional success. Confidence is damaged when promises are repeatedly postponed. Tomorrow becomes a habit. Postponement teaches the mind that delay is acceptable. Breaking this pattern requires decisive action. When a promise matters, act today, even if action is small. Promises also include standards. Promising to maintain a certain behavior level reinforces identity. When standards are upheld, confidence increases. When they are lowered, confidence weakens. Standards should be realistic but firm. Confidence is internal. Others may never know which promises you keep. That does not reduce their effect. Internal confidence influences posture, tone, decisions, and resilience. It shapes how you respond under pressure. Another important aspect is forgiveness paired with accountability. When you fail, acknowledge it without excuses. Reset the commitment immediately. Confidence recovers when responsibility replaces denial. Avoid comparing your confidence to others. Confidence built through kept promises looks calm. It does not seek attention. It shows through consistency. This confidence lasts because it does not rely on performance peaks. Confidence also grows through preparation. Preparing is a promise kept in advance. When you prepare, you respect your future self. This respect builds trust. Trust builds confidence. Promises to yourself should evolve. As consistency strengthens, promises can grow. Growth should be gradual. Rapid escalation increases failure risk. Steady progression maintains confidence. Confidence is fragile when built on outcomes. Outcomes fluctuate. Behavior remains controllable. Build confidence through controllable actions. One daily practice strengthens this process. Each morning, decide one promise you will keep today. One clear action. Complete it regardless of mood. End the day knowing you honored your word. This daily win compounds quickly. Confidence also strengthens resilience. When challenges appear, confidence built through kept promises reminds you that you can rely on yourself. This belief supports perseverance. Over time, this practice reshapes identity. You no longer question whether you will act. You know you will. This certainty reduces anxiety. It increases decisiveness. Confidence built this way does not require affirmations. It requires action. Each promise kept is proof. Proof silences doubt. Strengthening confidence by keeping promises to yourself is simple but demanding. It requires honesty, discipline, and patience. It requires valuing integrity over comfort. Success follows those who trust themselves. Self-trust is built through consistent follow-through. When your words align with your actions, confidence becomes natural. When confidence becomes natural, growth becomes steady. Take yourself seriously by honoring your own commitments. Each promise kept strengthens confidence. Each day becomes evidence. Over time, that evidence becomes unshakable belief in your ability to move forward and succeed. Chapter 70. Protect your attention by removing distractions without excuses. Attention is the most valuable resource you have because it shapes every result you produce. Where attention goes, effort follows, and where effort follows, outcomes are created. Many people believe they lack time or motivation when the real problem is that their attention is constantly divided. Progress does not require more hours. It requires fewer interruptions. Protecting attention is not about becoming rigid or disconnected. It is about choosing deliberately what deserves access to your mind. Distractions rarely announce themselves as harmful. They often appear harmless, useful, or even necessary. This is why they are so effective. They enter quietly and stay longer than intended. A few minutes turn into an hour. Focus dissolves and energy scatters. At the end of the day, effort feels high but results feel small. This pattern repeats until attention is reclaimed consciously. Most distractions are not forced upon you. They are allowed. This is an uncomfortable truth. Notifications are enabled. Boundaries are loose. Habits are unexamined. Protecting attention begins with accepting responsibility for what you permit. This is not about blame. It is about control. You cannot remove distractions you refuse to acknowledge. The mind cannot focus deeply while constantly switching. Each interruption leaves residue. Even brief distractions reduce quality of thought. Returning to a task takes time. This cost is invisible but significant. When distractions multiply, depth disappears. Protecting attention restores depth. Depth is where learning, skill, and meaningful progress occur. Removing distractions requires honesty about what actually pulls you away. Not what sounds productive, what actually interrupts. It could be constant checking of messages. It could be background noise. It could be conversations that drift aimlessly. It could be internal distractions like worry or planning unrelated tasks. All of these consume attention. Many people defend distractions by calling them breaks or balance. Rest is important, but distraction is not rest. Rest restores energy. Distraction drains it. Scrolling endlessly does not recover focus. It fragments it further. Protecting attention includes choosing real rest rather than default distraction. One of the most effective ways to protect attention is reducing access rather than relying on restraint. Willpower weakens under fatigue. Environment influences behavior more reliably. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Keep devices out of reach during focused work. Create physical separation between work and distraction. These actions remove temptation rather than fighting it. Attention also needs clear direction. When you are unsure what to focus on, distractions feel appealing. Clarity repels distraction. Before starting work, decide exactly what you will do. Define the task clearly. Undefined work invites interruption. Defined work anchors attention. Excuses often appear when removing distractions feels uncomfortable. The mind claims you need to stay available. It claims something important might be missed. It claims multitasking is necessary. Most of these claims are exaggerated. True emergencies are rare. Constant availability is not required for progress. Boundaries protect both attention and effectiveness. Protecting attention also means limiting information intake. Consuming excessive information creates mental noise. News updates, opinions, content, and advice compete for space. Without intentional limits, attention becomes overloaded. Choose specific times for information consumption. Avoid constant exposure. Quality matters more than quantity. Another hidden distraction is mental clutter. Unfinished tasks, unresolved decisions, and unclear priorities occupy attention, even when you are not actively thinking about them. Writing tasks down reduces this load. Deciding next steps clears space. Attention improves when the mind is not holding unnecessary reminders. Attention is also lost through emotional reactivity. Reacting immediately to messages or situations pulls focus away from chosen priorities. Pausing before responding preserves control. Not everything requires immediate reaction. Deliberate response protects attention. Protecting attention requires accepting that some people may be disappointed. When you limit availability, expectations change. This discomfort is temporary. Respect grows when boundaries are consistent. Inconsistent boundaries invite interruption. Consistent boundaries create understanding. Attention thrives in periods of uninterrupted focus. Even short focus sessions produce better results than long distracted ones. Schedule these periods intentionally. Treat them as non-negotiable appointments with yourself. This signals seriousness. Another important step is removing internal excuses. Excuses justify distraction. They sound logical. They explain avoidance. Once accepted, they end effort. Notice when excuses appear. Do not argue with them. Act anyway. Action weakens excuses faster than reasoning. Protecting attention also involves simplifying commitments. Too many obligations fragment focus. Fewer commitments allow depth. Evaluate obligations honestly. Release those that no longer align. This creates space for meaningful work. Attention improves when physical health is respected. Fatigue lowers resistance to distraction. Poor sleep increases impulsivity. Nourishment, movement, and rest support focus. Protecting attention includes caring for the body. Silence is a powerful tool. Constant noise reduces sensitivity to focus. Periods of quiet restore mental clarity. Seek silence intentionally. It does not need to be long. Even brief quiet moments recalibrate attention. Attention is strengthened through training. Focus improves with practice. Start with short focused sessions. Gradually extend them. Expect discomfort initially. The mind resists stillness. With repetition, resistance decreases. Protecting attention does not mean avoiding all enjoyment. It means choosing enjoyment deliberately. When enjoyment is intentional, it does not interfere with focus. When it is habitual, it does. Another distraction is perfectionism. Overthinking details delays progress. Attention gets trapped in refinement rather than completion. Protecting attention includes moving forward before everything feels perfect. Protecting attention is an act of self-respect. It says your goals matter enough to defend. It says your time is valuable. This attitude shapes behavior across life. As distractions decrease, focus improves. As focus improves, results improve. As results improve, motivation increases. This positive cycle begins with protection. Many people wait for better focus before removing distractions. This reverses cause and effect. Remove distractions first. Focus follows. Attention is fragile. Once scattered, it takes time to restore. Protect it daily rather than repairing it later. Each time you remove a distraction, you strengthen discipline. Each time you resist interruption, you reinforce identity. You become someone who chooses focus. Success requires sustained attention. Short bursts are not enough. Protecting attention makes sustained effort possible. Removing distractions without excuses is not extreme. It is practical. It is choosing progress over noise. When attention is protected, work feels lighter. Thinking becomes clearer. Energy lasts longer. Growth accelerates. The world will always offer distractions. You decide which ones enter. Take responsibility for this decision. Guard your attention with intention. This single practice will change how effectively you use your time and how deeply you progress toward success. Chapter 80. Invest daily in learning skills that increase personal value. Investing in yourself is the most reliable strategy for long-term growth because it creates value that no circumstance can take away. Skills are the currency of personal and professional influence. They determine how effectively you solve problems, create opportunities, and navigate challenges. Relying solely on luck, connections, or temporary advantages leaves outcomes fragile. Daily investment in learning transforms you from someone dependent on chance into someone capable of shaping your own reality. This investment is not occasional or reactive. It is consistent, deliberate, and focused on what genuinely increases your capacity. Learning is not only about acquiring knowledge, it is about acquiring usable ability. Many consume information endlessly but never change behavior or outcomes. Reading articles, watching videos, or attending events without application creates the illusion of growth. Real value comes when learning translates into action. Skills are built by practicing what is studied, testing what is understood, and refining what fails. Daily learning requires both intake and application. Knowledge without action is wasted potential. Consistency matters more than intensity. Trying to learn everything at once overwhelms the mind and prevents mastery. Small, deliberate efforts repeated daily compound into expertise over time. Spending 30 minutes every day focused on improving a high-impact skill produces better results than sporadic long sessions. Compounding is invisible at first but undeniable over months and years. Daily investment ensures progress continues regardless of motivation or energy spikes. Choosing which skills to invest in requires honesty and strategy. Not every skill provides equal returns. Skills that improve your ability to create, solve problems, communicate, or make decisions amplify results across many areas of life. Learning skills that increase personal value is not about hobbies alone, but about capability, versatility, and independence. Prioritize skills that enhance your ability to influence outcomes, manage complexity, and generate opportunities. Skills that are transferable multiply impact and reduce vulnerability to changing circumstances. Application accelerates learning. Practicing in real contexts exposes weaknesses and forces adaptation. Skills learned theoretically without real-world testing remain shallow. When you apply what you learn daily, mistakes become lessons rather than failures. Feedback becomes immediate. Improvement accelerates. Real growth occurs at the intersection of effort and experience, not from passive consumption. Discipline is essential for consistent skill development. It is easy to postpone learning when tasks feel optional. Without structure, a day passes without meaningful improvement. A reliable routine for learning creates momentum. Decide when, where, and how you will invest time in skill development each day. Treat it as a non-negotiable appointment. The mind respects commitment. Consistency signals seriousness both to yourself and to your environment. Learning in small increments also supports retention. The brain consolidates information better when it processes manageable portions regularly. Daily effort reinforces memory, understanding, and competence. Cramming or overloading leads to confusion, burnout, and superficial results. Patience combined with repetition produces mastery. Daily practice compounds exponentially in both knowledge and confidence. Investing in skills is also an investment in adaptability. The world changes constantly. Industries evolve, technology advances, and challenges emerge unpredictably. Skills that increase personal value reduce dependence on external conditions. The more capable you are, the more resilient your position becomes. Skill accumulation acts as a buffer against uncertainty and a lever for opportunity. Each skill learned multiplies your options and strengthens independence. Self-accountability enhances this process. Track progress daily. Review what was practiced, what improved, and what requires more focus. Reflection reveals patterns and prevents wasted effort. Without review, learning drifts and plateaus appear unnoticed. Honest assessment ensures every moment spent learning produces measurable growth. Curiosity fuels sustained investment in learning. Genuine curiosity motivates consistent engagement even when energy dips or tasks feel tedious. Curiosity transforms challenge into exploration and resistance into interest. Embracing a learner's mindset allows persistence in difficult areas because the focus shifts from obligation to opportunity. A curious mind seeks mastery rather than immediate reward. Another key is prioritizing high-leverage skills over low-impact activities. Skills that influence multiple outcomes or open new possibilities produce higher returns than skills with limited applicability. Learning how to communicate effectively, manage resources, or solve problems often provides exponential benefits. Assess potential skills for their ability to compound value rather than accumulate vanity knowledge. Strategic selection ensures daily investment maximizes return. Time management supports learning consistency. Allocate dedicated periods free from distractions. Interruptions dilute focus and slow progress. Attention is limited and must be protected during learning sessions. Treat this time as sacred. Protect it without excuses. Boundaries around learning are as important as the effort within them. Integration strengthens skill retention. Apply new skills across multiple contexts. Cross-context application reinforces understanding and reveals deeper principles. Skills become automatic when repeated under varied conditions. Knowledge becomes instinct. Application bridges the gap between potential and results. Daily investment also requires emotional resilience. Growth exposes gaps and weaknesses. Frustration is inevitable when progress feels slow or when mistakes occur. Resilience transforms these experiences into feedback rather than discouragement. Each challenge encountered during learning is an opportunity to refine method, strengthen patience, and deepen competence. Avoid avoidance. Facing difficulty consistently reinforces both skill and character. Collaboration and feedback accelerate learning. Seek input from others who are more experienced or who offer different perspectives. Constructive critique highlights blind spots. Incorporating feedback strengthens skills faster than solitary effort. Interaction should complement practice, not replace independent work. Tracking cumulative growth reinforces commitment. Regularly reviewing accomplishments, even small ones, provides evidence of progress. Visible progress motivates continued effort and validates the daily investment. Momentum grows as you see skills building over time. Small, consistent wins generate confidence and reinforce identity as someone capable and competent. Avoid distraction during learning sessions. External noise and internal excuses erode the effectiveness of practice. Focused attention magnifies the impact of every minute spent. Daily protection of concentration ensures the effort produces maximum value. Learning without focus is like planting seeds without water. Investing in yourself through skill development also shapes perception. As competence increases, confidence follows naturally. This confidence influences behavior, decision-making, and opportunity recognition. The more capable you become, the more responsibility and influence you can handle. Skill accumulation directly translates into personal power and freedom. Patience is essential. Skill development is rarely immediate. It is cumulative. Progress may feel slow in the beginning, but the foundation is being laid. Regular incremental improvement compounds into substantial expertise. Daily effort builds layers that appear suddenly when applied effectively in challenging situations. Long-term dedication always surpasses short-term intensity. Avoid superficial learning. Depth is more valuable than breadth early on. Mastering a few high-impact skills produces greater returns than spreading attention thinly across many areas. Mastery allows confident application and independent problem solving. Begin deep, then expand. Depth anchors competence and ensures value is tangible. Investing daily also builds discipline, attention, and identity simultaneously. Each session strengthens not only skills but the habit of improvement. Identity forms around consistent action. You become someone who learns, grows, and executes deliberately. This identity supports all future goals, making skill development self-reinforcing. The benefits of daily skill investment extend beyond personal success. Skills increase the ability to contribute, solve problems, and assist others effectively. This amplifies influence, reputation, and opportunity. Personal value grows in proportion to capability, creating leverage across every domain of life. Daily investment is simple in principle but demanding in execution. It requires planning, focus, consistency, and reflection. It demands prioritization, resilience, and deliberate attention. The payoff is long-term independence, competence, and growth. Skills accumulate, opportunities expand, and potential becomes tangible reality. Each day spent improving compounds quietly until the results are undeniable. Success favors those who choose to invest in themselves relentlessly. Daily learning transforms time into value, effort into capability, and potential into results. Every skill developed adds to personal power and self-reliance. Consistent, deliberate, and applied learning is the single most effective strategy to increase personal value and shape the future on your terms. Chapter 9. Set firm boundaries that reinforce self-respect and direction. Boundaries are not limitations imposed on others. They are declarations of self-respect and clarity about what you will accept in your life. Without boundaries, priorities become negotiable and direction becomes diluted. Many people believe they are being flexible or accommodating when in reality they are surrendering control over their time, energy, and focus. Setting firm boundaries is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of discipline. It signals to yourself and the world that your goals, values, and standards matter. Firm boundaries prevent drift and protect the ability to act intentionally. A clear boundary is visible in action, not just words. Saying yes to everything while thinking yes in your head achieves nothing. Boundaries are enforced consistently. When someone asks more than you can give, a boundary allows you to respond with honesty instead of guilt. It is not about creating conflict. It is about preserving alignment. Each firm boundary strengthens self-trust because your actions reflect your intentions. Many avoid boundaries because of fear. Fear of disappointing, fear of confrontation, fear of being disliked. This fear is often exaggerated. People respect consistency more than they demand compliance. When boundaries are set with respect and clarity, relationships adjust naturally. Those who value your presence will honor the limits, and those who resist reveal misalignment that must be addressed. Boundaries filter influence and protect focus. Self-respect is impossible without boundaries. Allowing constant interruptions, unnecessary demands, or exploitative behavior erodes identity. Each time a boundary is ignored, confidence diminishes. Each time a boundary is upheld, self-trust grows. Boundaries are therefore essential to maintaining direction and achieving meaningful goals. Boundaries also prevent energy leaks. Every demand, request, or distraction consumes attention. Without limits, energy is spread thin. Progress slows. Motivation drops. Firm boundaries control where effort flows. By defining what is acceptable and what is not, you can allocate energy deliberately, strengthening both focus and output. Creating boundaries begins with clarity about your values and priorities. What matters most? What must be preserved at all costs? Without clarity, boundaries are arbitrary and easy to break. With clarity, boundaries become natural extensions of purpose. They are not reactive, they are proactive. Each boundary aligns action with intention. Firm boundaries are reinforced through consistency. Saying no once and then yielding the next time teaches the mind that boundaries are negotiable. This weakens self-respect and creates confusion. Consistency communicates seriousness. Consistency teaches both yourself and others how you operate. Predictable enforcement strengthens identity and reinforces authority over your own life. Boundaries also protect mental space. Constant exposure to negative influence, distractions, or unnecessary stress impairs decision-making. A firm boundary is a shield that allows thought, reflection, and strategic action. Protecting mental space is essential for long-term growth, resilience, and creativity. Boundaries enable this protection naturally, rather than relying on willpower alone. Another key aspect is communication. Boundaries must be clear and direct. Vague signals invite negotiation or misunderstanding. When setting a boundary, state your limit in simple terms without apology or over-explanation. Clear communication reinforces the boundary internally and externally. Ambiguity weakens enforcement, allowing energy to drain unnoticed. Boundaries also include internal limits. These are the standards you maintain for your behavior, habits, and decisions. Allowing yourself to drift from commitments or tolerate excuses erodes self-direction. Internal boundaries reinforce external ones. Discipline in daily choices supports confidence, competence, and clarity. Protecting your inner standards ensures you remain aligned even when external pressures increase. Resistance to boundaries often arises from attachment to approval. People want to be liked, accepted, or needed. This desire undermines self-respect when boundaries are ignored to satisfy others. Firm boundaries require detachment from external validation. Respect is internal first, external second. When your self-worth is anchored in action and values, boundaries become easier to maintain. Boundaries also shape focus. By defining what is acceptable, you reduce noise and distraction. Tasks, interactions, and commitments align with purpose. This alignment improves efficiency and clarity. Boundaries act as a filter, allowing only what supports goals and growth to enter your life. Boundaries do not need to be rigid in every situation. Flexibility is different from compromise. Flexibility adjusts without sacrificing core principles. Compromise without purpose erodes identity. Understanding this distinction ensures boundaries remain effective without creating unnecessary conflict. Boundaries are a form of long-term investment. Each limit set protects future capacity. Energy preserved today compounds into resilience, clarity, and accomplishment tomorrow. Ignoring boundaries provides temporary satisfaction, but guarantees eventual depletion. Respecting boundaries creates sustainable growth and direction. Practicing boundary setting begins with small commitments. Protect specific blocks of time, guard mental focus, or limit unnecessary conversation. Start small, then expand. Each success builds confidence and reinforces identity. The habit of enforcing boundaries becomes automatic and natural over time. Boundaries also teach others how to treat you. People do not naturally know your limits. They learn through observation of consistent behavior. Every boundary upheld strengthens both self-respect and social clarity. Repeated enforcement communicates seriousness without aggression. Self-reflection is important for boundary effectiveness. Regularly review where energy is spent and where limits are necessary. Boundaries are not static. They evolve with circumstances, goals, and growth. Adjusting boundaries ensures alignment while maintaining firmness and integrity. Boundaries support resilience. When challenges or pressure test limits, those with firm boundaries remain calm. Decisions are guided by principle, not emotion. Emotional reactivity declines. Clarity and direction strengthen. This composure reinforces confidence and promotes strategic action in complex situations. Boundaries also improve relationships by clarifying expectations. When limits are communicated clearly, interactions become transparent. Misunderstandings decrease. Respect increases. Mutual understanding flourishes. Those unwilling to respect boundaries reveal incompatible alignment, which allows focus to shift toward more supportive connections. Energy, focus, self-respect, and purpose are all strengthened through boundaries. Every limit set reinforces your commitment to yourself. Every adherence communicates seriousness. Every enforcement preserves momentum. Over time, boundaries shape not just daily life but identity, capability, and opportunity. The absence of boundaries creates chaos, exhaustion, and drift. The presence of boundaries creates structure, clarity, and sustainable direction. Firm boundaries are not negotiable in matters that affect personal growth, focus, or core values. They are a non-negotiable framework for living intentionally. Setting firm boundaries is both practical and empowering. It is the silent engine behind focus, energy management, and goal achievement. Boundaries preserve what matters, protect your direction, and strengthen self-respect. Over time, they create a life in which progress is intentional, consistent, and aligned with values. Those who master boundaries master themselves. Chapter Hanfi: Take ownership of mistakes and correct them immediately. Mistakes are inevitable because life is unpredictable and actions often have unintended consequences. Every person encounters failure, misjudgment, or error at some point, but the way you respond determines whether those mistakes become stumbling blocks or stepping stones. Taking ownership of mistakes is not about blame or shame. It is about recognizing reality without denial, embracing responsibility without defensiveness, and acting to correct course immediately. Immediate correction transforms mistakes from losses into learning opportunities. Avoidance only multiplies consequences and erodes self-trust. Ownership begins with clarity. When a mistake occurs, acknowledge it explicitly to yourself without excuses or rationalizations. The mind naturally searches for reasons to soften responsibility, but those reasons rarely change outcomes. Acceptance is not weakness, it is control. When you face a mistake directly, you regain power over it. The moment you acknowledge your role, you can act strategically instead of reacting impulsively or defensively. Delay is the enemy of correction. Hesitation allows the mistake to grow larger, affect more people, or become entangled with additional errors. Immediate response contains the impact and signals to yourself that you are serious about results. Correcting quickly demonstrates self-discipline and decisiveness, and it builds credibility with others as well. Action, even if imperfect, is always preferable to inaction. The sooner you act, the sooner you can restore alignment with your goals and standards. Taking ownership requires honesty and humility. Pride often prevents people from admitting mistakes. Ego invents justifications, shifts blame, or minimizes significance. True ownership asks you to set pride aside temporarily and view the situation objectively. Humility does not diminish capability, It strengthens it because it allows learning to occur. By acknowledging error without defensiveness, you create space for growth and improvement. Immediate correction demands a proactive mindset. After identifying a mistake, ask yourself what can be done right now to fix it. Identify specific actions rather than abstract intentions. Small adjustments taken promptly often prevent further escalation and restore momentum. Waiting for ideal conditions or external approval delays resolution and reinforces avoidance habits. Immediate action demonstrates that you value results over comfort and integrity over convenience. Mistakes are also feedback. Every error contains information about decisions, processes, and habits that require adjustment. Taking ownership allows you to extract that information effectively. Analyzing why a mistake happened without judgment reveals patterns. Perhaps a process was unclear, preparation was insufficient, or a decision was rushed. Correcting the immediate mistake is the first step. Learning from it prevents recurrence. Ownership links correction with insight, ensuring that each error becomes a building block for competence rather than a recurring burden. Emotional control is essential during this process. Mistakes trigger frustration, anxiety, or self-criticism. Allowing these emotions to dominate clouds judgment and slows correction. Calmly acknowledging the mistake keeps focus on solutions rather than on regret. Emotional discipline turns a potentially demoralizing event into a controlled opportunity for improvement. The ability to act under emotional stress separates those who stagnate from those who advance. Ownership also strengthens relationships. Avoiding responsibility often damages trust, while admitting mistakes promptly fosters credibility. People respect individuals who recognize errors and take corrective action. Apologies without excuses and corrective measures without delay demonstrate accountability. These behaviors reinforce integrity and encourage others to trust your decisions and commitments. Ownership is therefore not only a personal discipline, but also a social skill that amplifies influence and respect. Consistency matters. Taking ownership of one mistake but ignoring others creates selective accountability and erodes credibility. True self-mastery involves applying the principle uniformly. Each mistake, no matter how small, warrants recognition and correction. This consistency builds a track record of reliability and self-respect. Over time, people learn that you do not avoid responsibility, which reduces stress, second-guessing, and external pressure. Ownership requires courage. Mistakes can carry consequences, criticism, or inconvenience. Facing them directly without evasion is difficult, but courage transforms accountability into strength. Courageous action encourages clarity, decisiveness, and composure. It builds the internal muscle that allows you to face uncertainty and risk without hesitation. Every time you act to correct a mistake immediately, courage grows incrementally. Correction is not about perfection. Often immediate action will only partially resolve the error. This is acceptable if it demonstrates initiative and begins recovery. Incremental correction prevents paralysis from fear of failure. Acting imperfectly is better than doing nothing. Each adjustment contributes to eventual resolution and demonstrates commitment to responsibility. Perfection can follow practice, but ownership begins with decisive first steps. Mistakes also test priorities. How you respond indicates what matters most to you. Delayed or avoided correction signals tolerance for error, while immediate action signals commitment to results, standards, and integrity. Consistently taking ownership aligns behavior with identity. You become the type of person who confronts challenges rather than avoiding them, who values truth over comfort, and who treats responsibility as a priority. Taking ownership includes reflection. Once the immediate mistake is addressed, examine how it happened. Identify preventable causes, habits that contributed, and decisions that led to the outcome. Reflection converts experience into strategy. Immediate correction stops loss, reflection prevents repetition. Both are necessary for mastery. Failure without learning repeats itself, but ownership combines action and insight. Accountability tools support this practice. Recording commitments, tracking actions, or reviewing outcomes provides clarity. When a mistake occurs, documented evidence allows swift analysis and informed correction. Systems reinforce ownership by reducing reliance on memory or emotion alone. Organized accountability increases speed, accuracy, and effectiveness in responding to errors. Ownership also requires setting limits. Not every mistake can be immediately resolved in full. Recognize what can be corrected now and what requires phased action. Prioritize interventions based on impact and urgency. Acting strategically prevents overwhelm and ensures that resources are allocated efficiently. Ownership is decisive, not frantic. Immediate correction strengthens self-confidence. Taking responsibility and acting promptly reinforces the belief that you can influence outcomes. Each corrected mistake becomes proof of competence. Self-trust grows with every instance of decisive ownership, reducing fear of future errors. Confidence and accountability reinforce each other in a positive cycle. Avoid shifting blame. Assigning responsibility to others or circumstances delays resolution and diminishes self-respect. External factors may contribute, but focusing on what you can control accelerates correction and empowers action. Ownership emphasizes agency. It transforms mistakes from obstacles into opportunities for effective intervention. Ownership also improves judgment. Recognizing patterns in mistakes informs future decision-making. Every corrected error enhances discernment, sharpens strategy, and increases awareness of risk. The cumulative effect of owning and correcting mistakes is improved foresight and reliability. This strengthens both personal and professional capability. Mistakes should never be ignored with the hope they resolve themselves. Unaddressed errors grow quietly, impacting other areas of life, weakening confidence, and complicating future decisions. Immediate correction is preventive. It minimizes collateral damage and preserves stability. Ownership ensures that problems are confronted at the source before they escalate. The habit of taking ownership transforms mindset. Challenges are no longer threats to ego or security. They become opportunities to act decisively, learn, and reinforce identity. Mistakes become a measure of engagement and seriousness rather than shame. Ownership converts vulnerability into strength. Self-respect is reinforced by immediate correction. When you act without delay, you demonstrate that your standards matter. You signal to yourself that your commitments are not negotiable. Each mistake addressed promptly is an investment in integrity and reliability. This habit solidifies identity and builds resilience over time. Ownership builds momentum. Correcting errors quickly prevents stagnation, restores clarity, and accelerates progress. It prevents procrastination and hesitation from compounding into larger setbacks. Immediate action ensures continuity and reinforces personal effectiveness. Taking ownership of mistakes and correcting them immediately is both a practical strategy and a discipline of character. It requires honesty, humility, courage, and decisiveness. It strengthens self-trust, improves relationships, enhances judgment, and preserves integrity. Mistakes remain inevitable, but their impact is controlled and often transformed into growth. Mastery of this principle separates those who drift through life reacting to circumstances from those who actively shape their path with clarity, responsibility, and resilience. Chapter 11. Create clear priorities that guide actions during busy days. Creating clear priorities is the cornerstone of effective action because without them energy scatters, decisions stall, and days feel chaotic. Every day presents countless demands, opportunities, and tasks, but not all are equally important. Without defined priorities, urgent matters dominate, leaving critical long-term goals neglected. Establishing clear priorities transforms a busy day into purposeful action. It directs attention, focuses energy, and ensures that every decision aligns with meaningful outcomes. Clarity about what matters most prevents wasted effort and creates measurable progress even when life is unpredictable. The first step is identifying what truly matters. Priorities are rooted in values, objectives, and impact. Asking what activities contribute most to personal growth, career advancement, or essential responsibilities reveals what deserves focus. Superficial tasks may feel urgent but produce little value. True priorities align effort with results. Once identified, these priorities act as a compass during busy days, guiding choices and resisting distraction. Without clarity, even a well-intentioned day can drift aimlessly into business without achievement. Prioritization requires honesty about time and energy. Many people overcommit, underestimating the effort required or overestimating capacity. This creates stress and reduces effectiveness. Clear priorities force tough decisions about what to pursue and what to defer. Saying no to low-impact tasks is not avoidance, it is strategic allocation of resources. Boundaries and priorities work together to protect focus and maintain direction. Each task accepted should serve a meaningful purpose, reinforcing the principle of intentional action. Organizing tasks by importance and urgency clarifies the day ahead. High-impact tasks deserve immediate attention, while less significant tasks can be scheduled, delegated, or eliminated. Using a structured approach prevents the trap of reacting solely to the loudest demands. A clear hierarchy of priorities reduces mental clutter and allows concentration on what produces lasting results. Even under pressure, knowing what must be accomplished first maintains control over the day, rather than being controlled by external circumstances. Creating daily priorities requires practical tools. Writing a list each morning or the night before converts abstract intentions into actionable steps. This externalization frees mental space and allows focus on execution rather than memory. Assigning a small number of non-negotiable priorities ensures that even if interruptions occur, the most important tasks are addressed. A clear plan prevents energy from dissipating into scattered effort, which often leads to frustration and burnout. Focus is strengthened when priorities are visual and specific. Vague goals like work on projects allow distraction. Defining precise actions like complete report section A by noon transforms priorities into commitments. Concrete clarity allows measurement, accountability, and progress tracking. Each task completed reinforces a sense of control, accomplishment, and momentum, even amid a hectic schedule. Flexibility is compatible with clear priorities. Unforeseen events will arise, and the ability to adjust while keeping core objectives intact is crucial. Effective prioritization distinguishes between what can be shifted without consequence and what cannot. The mind remains calm because decisions are guided by pre-defined principles rather than reactive impulses. This balance between discipline and adaptability allows steady progress while maintaining resilience under pressure. Time blocking amplifies the effect of clear priorities. Assigning specific periods to top priority tasks reduces the likelihood of interruption and ensures focused work. Treat these blocks as non-negotiable appointments. Protecting these periods reinforces the seriousness of priorities and strengthens consistency. Even brief windows of concentrated effort produce disproportionate results compared to fragmented attention. Daily review strengthens prioritization. Assessing progress at the end of the day identifies completed tasks, pending actions, and adjustments for tomorrow. This reflection ensures priorities remain aligned with overarching goals. It prevents drift and reinforces the habit of deliberate focus. Without review, important tasks can be overlooked, and time is easily lost to low-impact activities. Discipline enhances priority execution. Motivation fluctuates throughout the day, but discipline ensures adherence to the established order. By relying on pre-defined priorities rather than temporary feelings, action becomes consistent. Each decision then becomes a deliberate choice rather than a reaction to fleeting impulses. This self-discipline reinforces reliability, efficiency, and confidence. Priorities should emphasize long-term impact over short-term convenience. Busy days often tempt immediate gratification or relief. True priority management favors tasks that build lasting outcomes, even if they are difficult or uncomfortable. Consistent focus on high-value activities accumulates progress over weeks and months. Each day invested strategically compounds into significant achievement, making the habit of prioritization a multiplier for success. Clarity in priorities also reduces stress and anxiety. When decisions are guided by predefined objectives, uncertainty diminishes. The mind is freed from constant weighing of options. Energy that would otherwise be consumed by indecision is redirected into productive action. Clear priorities create mental space, reduce overwhelm, and promote calm, focused effort. Delegation is a component of effective prioritization. Not all tasks require your personal involvement. Identifying what can be entrusted to others allows focus on tasks that uniquely require your attention and capability. Delegation reinforces responsibility, preserves energy, and ensures that priorities receive the quality focus they deserve. Effective delegation is part of a broader strategy to maintain clarity and control throughout a busy day. Priorities are strengthened through elimination. Many low-value commitments and distractions quietly consume time. By consciously removing tasks that do not contribute to key goals, attention is freed for meaningful action. This process creates simplicity, reduces noise, and enhances performance. Every unnecessary task removed increases the capacity to deliver on the highest priorities. Energy management complements prioritization. Scheduling demanding tasks when mental and physical energy are highest increases effectiveness. Less critical tasks can occupy lower energy periods. Aligning priority execution with peak capacity ensures high-quality results and prevents fatigue from compromising focus. Attention, energy, and importance converge when priorities are matched to capability. Clear priorities also reinforce decision-making. When confronted with multiple options, priorities act as a reference point. Choices become simpler, faster, and more confident. The mind no longer drifts into indecision or distraction because alignment with core objectives guides every action. Decisions reflect purpose rather than reaction, reinforcing self-trust and consistency. Priorities extend beyond work into personal life. Relationships, health, and personal development benefit from deliberate attention. Balancing commitments requires identifying what truly matters and allocating time accordingly. Clear priorities prevent neglect of essential areas and maintain holistic growth. Focus on high-value activities ensures balanced progress across all dimensions of life. Reinforcing priorities requires accountability. Tracking daily completion, reviewing results, and adjusting plans ensures action aligns with intention. Without accountability, even well-defined priorities can be neglected. Self-assessment reinforces discipline, identifies gaps, and strengthens commitment. Accountability transforms priorities from abstract ideals into tangible daily accomplishments. Priorities are dynamic. Each day presents new information, opportunities, and challenges. Effective prioritization involves constant evaluation. Maintaining flexibility while preserving focus on core objectives ensures that daily action is both deliberate and responsive. This adaptability prevents stagnation and maintains momentum toward meaningful outcomes. Prioritization is an act of respect toward yourself. By defining what matters most and acting accordingly, you protect your time, energy, and capability. It communicates to yourself and others that your goals are important. Clear priorities create structure, reduce wasted effort, and maximize impact. Every decision guided by priority strengthens identity, competence, and momentum. Clear priorities transform busy days from reactive chaos into purposeful achievement. They focus energy, preserve attention, strengthen discipline, and accelerate progress. Each task aligned with priority creates measurable results, builds confidence, and reinforces identity. The habit of defining and acting on priorities daily ensures that even in the most demanding circumstances, action remains deliberate, effective, and aligned with meaningful objectives. Chapter 12 and develop resilience by facing discomfort instead of avoiding it. Resilience is not an innate trait reserved for a few people. It is a skill cultivated through deliberate exposure to challenges and discomfort. Life consistently presents situations that test patience, determination, and mental strength. Avoiding these moments offers temporary relief but prevents growth. Facing discomfort head-on builds the internal capacity to withstand pressure, adapt to unexpected difficulties, and persist toward goals even when conditions are unfavorable. Each encounter with discomfort strengthens the mind, body, and character, creating a foundation for long-term success and stability. Discomfort often signals the areas where growth is necessary. When situations feel difficult, they usually point to gaps in skill, endurance, or understanding. Ignoring these signals delays development and reinforces patterns of avoidance. Embracing discomfort allows you to identify weaknesses early and take corrective action. It transforms challenge into opportunity, providing immediate feedback that informs improvement. Recognizing discomfort as a guide rather than a threat shifts perspective and strengthens resolve. Developing resilience begins with small, deliberate steps. Facing minor challenges builds confidence and prepares you for more significant tests. This incremental exposure prevents overwhelm while establishing a habitual response to difficulty. Each small victory against discomfort creates momentum and reinforces the belief that adversity can be managed. Over time, repeated exposure to manageable stress builds a reservoir of strength that can be drawn upon in more severe circumstances. Discomfort is inherently linked to change. Growth requires stretching beyond current capabilities, and this often feels uncomfortable. The mind naturally resists unfamiliar or demanding experiences, seeking safety and ease. Resilience develops when you act despite this resistance. Repeatedly choosing to engage with discomfort rewires your response to adversity, making you less reactive and more strategic. Courage and discipline grow in parallel with your willingness to confront challenges directly. Mental preparation enhances the ability to face discomfort. Anticipating difficulty allows you to approach situations with calm and purpose rather than panic. Planning strategies, considering potential outcomes, and mentally rehearsing responses reduces the sense of helplessness. Mental rehearsal strengthens decision-making under pressure and reduces the emotional weight of challenging experiences. Anticipation transforms discomfort from a source of fear into a navigable obstacle. Physical endurance complements mental resilience. Regular exposure to physical challenge, whether through exercise, manual work, or other demanding activities, trains the body to tolerate stress. The body and mind are interconnected. Overcoming physical discomfort enhances mental tolerance for stress. Each act of pushing through fatigue, pain, or difficulty reinforces self-discipline and demonstrates the value of persistence. Physical resilience reinforces the habit of confronting discomfort in other areas of life. Facing discomfort requires self-honesty. Denying fear, downplaying challenge, or ignoring internal resistance weakens resilience. Acknowledging the difficulty of a situation without surrendering to it allows you to act effectively. Self-honesty enables clear assessment of risks, available resources, and necessary actions. This clarity supports confidence and decisiveness even when circumstances are uncomfortable or unpredictable. Discomfort often comes with temporary failure. Resilient individuals recognize that failure is part of the process and not a reflection of permanent inadequacy. Immediate evaluation and adaptation following failure prevents discouragement and accelerates growth. Each setback becomes a lesson rather than a stopping point. Understanding this distinction allows persistence to continue through repeated challenges without eroding motivation or self-worth. Resilience also relies on emotional regulation. High-intensity situations frequently provoke anxiety, frustration, or irritation. Learning to maintain composure under emotional stress strengthens the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Controlled responses allow for effective problem-solving, strategic planning, and proactive adjustment. Emotional mastery ensures that discomfort does not dictate behavior but informs deliberate action. Consistency is key to building resilience. Confronting discomfort sporadically has limited impact. Regular engagement with challenging situations establishes a pattern of tolerance and adaptation. Over time, the nervous system, mind, and habits adjust to the expectation of difficulty. Daily or frequent practice ensures that resilience becomes an automatic response rather than a conscious effort. Routine exposure reinforces confidence, endurance, and capability. Resilience is amplified by perspective. Viewing discomfort as temporary and necessary fosters acceptance rather than resistance. Each difficult experience is a lesson in patience, problem-solving, and perseverance. Adopting this mindset reduces the perceived threat of challenges and transforms pressure into productive effort. Perspective shifts the focus from avoidance to engagement, reinforcing self-determination and control. Supportive strategies enhance the process of facing discomfort. Preparation, structured planning, and incremental exposure reduce unnecessary risk while maximizing growth. Tracking progress and reviewing outcomes reinforces learning and identifies patterns of improvement. Structured reflection ensures that each experience with adversity produces measurable gains. Resilience is strengthened when action is purposeful, observed, and adapted over time. Boundaries and priorities complement resilience. Clear priorities determine where effort should be focused even when challenges arise. Boundaries prevent distraction and energy drain, allowing full attention to confront pressing difficulties. Both provide a framework within which discomfort is faced strategically rather than chaotically. This structure supports consistent performance and reinforces self-discipline. Facing discomfort strengthens decision-making skills. When habitual avoidance is replaced with deliberate action, confidence in judgment grows. Repeatedly confronting difficult circumstances trains the mind to evaluate situations realistically, identify viable options, and execute effective solutions under pressure. Each challenge faced becomes an opportunity to refine strategic thinking and improve responsiveness in future adversity. Resilience builds independence. Dependence on external conditions, comfort, or approval decreases when you rely on internal strength to navigate difficulty. Facing discomfort reinforces the ability to act autonomously, maintain focus, and persist without external reinforcement. Self-reliance increases confidence, reduces anxiety, and enhances the capacity for leadership in personal and professional life. Resilient individuals also cultivate patience. Growth and adaptation rarely occur instantly. Confronting discomfort may produce temporary struggle, but sustained engagement yields durable strength. Patience allows persistence through prolonged difficulty without abandoning goals or values. It reinforces discipline and prevents reactive shortcuts that compromise long-term success. Reflection following discomfort consolidates learning, evaluating what worked, what failed, and how adaptation occurred strengthens competence. Awareness of personal progress reinforces motivation and highlights areas for continued improvement. Reflection turns experience into actionable insight, ensuring that each encounter with adversity contributes to cumulative resilience. Resilience transforms identity. Regular exposure to discomfort redefines self-perception from reactive and fragile to capable, confident, and disciplined. Each challenge faced becomes a demonstration of competence and perseverance, reinforcing a mindset oriented toward problem-solving rather than avoidance. Over time, identity itself supports resilience automatically, guiding behavior toward continued engagement with difficulty. Facing discomfort without avoidance strengthens relationships. Confronting difficult conversations, holding accountable, and managing conflict responsibly enhances trust and respect. Avoidance erodes reliability and weakens social bonds, whereas resilience in adversity communicates integrity, competence, and strength of character. Resilient individuals maintain composure and contribute positively even in tense or uncomfortable situations. The practice of confronting discomfort reinforces long-term effectiveness. Life will always present difficulties, uncertainty, and obstacles. Resilience ensures that these challenges do not derail progress. The ability to face adversity, adapt, and persist creates consistent performance, cultivates opportunity, and maintains focus on meaningful objectives. Each encounter with difficulty reinforces capacity to act decisively under pressure. Developing resilience through discomfort requires deliberate commitment. It is not passive. It is practiced through consistent exposure, reflection, emotional regulation, and strategic action. The habit of confronting challenges gradually transforms perception of difficulty from a source of fear into a tool for personal growth. Resilience becomes a defining attribute, shaping decisions, behavior, and outcomes across all areas of life. Embracing discomfort is transformative. It converts stress into strength, fear into courage, and challenge into opportunity. Each decision to act despite discomfort compounds over time, creating a robust internal foundation for success. Resilience cultivated in this way ensures that setbacks, pressure, and adversity become manageable, navigable, and ultimately empowering. The ability to face discomfort directly is a skill that defines character, effectiveness, and the trajectory of achievement. Chapter 13. Measure progress weekly and adjust actions with discipline. Measuring progress is the foundation for meaningful improvement because without feedback, effort often drifts aimlessly and results remain inconsistent. Weekly reflection allows the mind to assess actions, recognize patterns, and identify whether behavior aligns with goals. Discipline is required to act on these insights rather than ignore them. Taking time each week to evaluate performance creates clarity about what is working, what is stagnating, and what requires immediate adjustment. Without this deliberate review, small errors compound, opportunities are missed, and growth slows. Weekly measurement transforms ordinary activity into intentional progress. The first step is gathering accurate information, record actions, outcomes, and challenges from the week without judgment or rationalization. Avoid the temptation to generalize or rely solely on memory. Writing down specifics ensures clarity and creates a reliable baseline for evaluation. Documenting accomplishments, setbacks, and deviations from plans allows a precise understanding of current performance. Objectivity in measurement removes bias and provides a clear foundation for decision-making. Once information is collected, analyze it critically. Compare actions against priorities, goals, and standards. Identify patterns that contributed to successes and recognize behaviors that limited progress. This analysis is not about self-criticism, but about understanding the mechanics of performance. Knowing exactly where time, energy, or effort was misallocated allows for strategic adjustment rather than repeating ineffective habits. Discipline in analysis ensures that lessons are extracted from experience rather than ignored. Adjustment follows measurement. Reflection alone has little value if it does not inform action. Identify specific behaviors or approaches that require change and commit to implementing improvements in the following week. Small adjustments compound over time. Even minor refinements in workflow, decision-making, or focus produce significant results when applied consistently. Discipline ensures that the adjustment process is executed deliberately rather than left to chance. Consistency in weekly measurement reinforces accountability. Establish a fixed day and time for review, making it a non-negotiable part of your routine. Treat the process with seriousness and respect for its impact on growth. Skipping evaluation allows errors to persist unnoticed and creates gaps in understanding progress. Regular practice builds the habit of disciplined reflection, reinforcing the mindset that improvement is continuous and deliberate. Measuring progress requires honesty. Inflated self-assessment undermines the process and provides false assurance. Recognize shortcomings and confront areas of stagnation without defensiveness. Accurate self-evaluation is essential for meaningful adjustment. It strengthens self-awareness, promotes reliability, and ensures that actions are grounded in reality rather than perception. Honesty combined with discipline forms the core of weekly evaluation. Tracking metrics or milestones supports measurement. Establish quantifiable indicators of progress that align with objectives. These can include completed tasks, time invested, skill improvements, or behavioral changes. Tangible metrics allow for objective evaluation and provide motivation as accomplishments are observed. Metrics act as benchmarks for comparison and reveal whether adjustments are necessary to remain aligned with goals. Reflection should also include consideration of obstacles encountered during the week. Identifying challenges highlights potential gaps in planning, preparation, or execution. Understanding why progress was hindered allows for proactive solutions rather than reactive excuses. Discipline in addressing obstacles ensures that similar barriers are minimized in the future. Confronting difficulty with intention transforms setbacks into growth opportunities. Weekly evaluation also involves reviewing energy management. Assess how focus, stamina, and mental clarity affected execution. Determine whether tasks were attempted during optimal periods or if fatigue compromised performance. Adjusting routines to align energy with priority activities enhances efficiency and outcome quality. Awareness of energy patterns ensures that actions are strategic rather than reactive, amplifying results from effort invested. Setting action steps for the following week is a critical component. Identify high-impact behaviors to continue, areas requiring improvement, and new strategies to implement. Assign measurable targets and deadlines. By translating reflection into concrete tasks, progress becomes actionable. Discipline in defining these next steps prevents drift and ensures that each week builds systematically toward overarching objectives. Accountability reinforces weekly measurement. Share progress with a mentor, peer, or personal tracking system to create external reinforcement. Accountability encourages follow-through on adjustments, strengthens commitment, and provides perspective on actions taken. External input combined with Evaluation creates a balanced view of performance and strengthens resilience in maintaining disciplined action. Weekly measurement also cultivates adaptability. By regularly evaluating results, you remain responsive to change and avoid rigid adherence to ineffective routines. Disciplined adjustment allows strategies to evolve in real time, increasing efficiency and effectiveness. Adaptability ensures that progress is continuous and aligned with reality rather than constrained by habit or assumption. Celebrating progress is important for motivation. Recognize accomplishments, no matter how small, as confirmation that disciplined action yields results. Positive reinforcement encourages continued effort, strengthens morale, and solidifies the habit of reflection and adjustment. Acknowledging achievement does not diminish seriousness. It reinforces the value of deliberate action and consistent improvement. Identify repeating mistakes as part of weekly evaluation. Patterns indicate persistent gaps in knowledge, behavior, or focus. Addressing recurring issues with targeted strategies prevents them from undermining long-term objectives. Discipline in confronting repeated errors fosters learning and transforms setbacks into growth. Each pattern recognized and corrected strengthens competence and foresight. Reflection should incorporate review of priorities. Confirm that actions taken align with the most important goals and values. Misalignment is a common cause of wasted effort. Weekly assessment ensures that tasks support objectives rather than being consumed by trivial or urgent demands. Adjusting focus reinforces effectiveness, efficiency, and strategic alignment. Weekly measurement fosters self-trust. Following through with honest evaluation and corrective action demonstrates commitment to personal standards and growth. Each week becomes a test of consistency and integrity. Discipline in both assessment and adjustment strengthens confidence in decision-making, planning, and execution. Over time, self-trust becomes automatic, allowing more complex challenges to be approached with assurance. Tracking progress over multiple weeks reveals trends. Incremental improvements may appear minor in isolation but compound over time. Observing patterns of success and growth reinforces motivation, highlights strengths, and guides refinement of strategies. Long-term tracking ensures that short-term fluctuations do not obscure overall trajectory. Discipline ensures that both small wins and setbacks inform future action. The act of weekly measurement integrates reflection, adjustment, and implementation into a continuous feedback loop. Each cycle strengthens awareness, focus, and effectiveness. Without discipline, the loop is broken and progress stagnates. With consistent practice, reflection becomes automatic, adjustments are deliberate, and outcomes steadily improve. Weekly evaluation is a commitment to self-improvement. It signals seriousness about results, respect for time and effort, and dedication to personal standards. Measuring progress and adjusting actions transforms ordinary routines into a system of growth, resilience, and strategic achievement. Those who embrace this practice develop control over outcomes, insight into performance, and the habit of disciplined action that defines consistent success. Chapter 14: Speak with purpose and align words with consistent actions. Speaking with purpose is one of the most powerful ways to establish credibility, influence others, and reinforce personal integrity. Words have weight, and when they are not aligned with actions, trust erodes, opportunities diminish, and relationships weaken. Every statement carries consequences, whether intentional or unintentional. Aligning words with consistent actions is not about perfection, it is about building reliability, demonstrating commitment, and living in a way that reflects values and intentions. Speaking with clarity and following through with action creates coherence between thought, communication, and behavior, which strengthens both personal authority and self-confidence. Purposeful speech begins with clarity of intention. Before speaking, consider the impact your words will have and the message you intend to convey. Avoid empty statements, vague promises, or reactive comments that serve only immediate emotional impulses. Intentional language communicates respect for yourself and for others. Each phrase should serve a function, whether it is to inform, motivate, clarify, or negotiate. Speaking without a clear purpose dilutes influence and fosters misunderstanding. Consistency between words and actions reinforces credibility. When commitments are followed by tangible behavior, others trust your judgment and reliability. Broken promises, overstatements, or inconsistent actions create doubt and reduce influence. Alignment requires tracking commitments, prioritizing promises that can be realistically fulfilled, and maintaining focus on meaningful results. Integrity emerges naturally when actions consistently reflect communicated intentions. Speaking with purpose also requires restraint. Not every thought or opinion needs to be voiced. Discernment in choosing when to speak and what to express demonstrates self-discipline and authority. Thoughtless speech often produces unintended consequences, while selective communication enhances clarity and impact. Silence, when purposeful, supports action and prevents unnecessary conflict or distraction. Choosing words carefully amplifies their significance and strengthens alignment with behavior. Preparation enhances the ability to speak with purpose. Consider the audience, context, and objectives before articulating ideas. Effective communication involves understanding the needs, expectations, and perspectives of others. Prepared speech increases confidence, reduces miscommunication, and ensures that words complement actions. When speech is intentional and well framed, it is more likely to be followed by meaningful action, creating a cohesive impact. Purposeful speaking is intertwined with emotional control. Words spoken in haste, anger, or frustration often contradict intentions and compromise integrity. Maintaining composure ensures that language reflects deliberate thought rather than reactive impulse. Emotional regulation strengthens consistency between speech and action, demonstrating discipline and reliability. Over time, the habit of controlled and intentional speech becomes second nature, influencing behavior positively. Alignment of words and actions begins with self-accountability. Track commitments made verbally and evaluate whether follow-through occurs consistently. Identify gaps between promises and behavior and address them immediately. Accountability transforms communication into a reflection of personal standards rather than casual expression. Observing this alignment strengthens both self-trust and external credibility. Purposeful speech also fosters clarity in relationships. Clear communication reduces misunderstanding and establishes mutual expectations. Aligning words with action signals reliability and respect, strengthening both personal and professional connections. Others learn to predict behavior based on language, which creates smoother interactions, fewer conflicts, and greater influence. Misalignment, by contrast, breeds suspicion and diminishes cooperative potential. Intentional language drives action. By committing verbally to a specific course or plan, the mind internalizes responsibility. Speech reinforces accountability when paired with deliberate follow-through. Each declaration becomes a contract with yourself and others, motivating behavior toward completion. The combination of verbal commitment and subsequent action produces consistency, reliability, and momentum in achieving objectives. Speaking with purpose requires precision. Avoid ambiguity or statements that can be misinterpreted. Clear articulation ensures that intentions are understood and actions are measured against them. Miscommunication often leads to misalignment, wasted effort, and frustration. Precision in language supports discipline in action, creating an environment where promises are tangible and observable rather than abstract and unreliable. Observing consequences of speech reinforces alignment. Evaluate whether statements consistently produce intended results or whether behavior contradicts expressed intent. Honest assessment highlights areas for improvement and strengthens future communication. Learning from discrepancies between words and actions refines both the quality of speech and the effectiveness of behavior. Continuous feedback maintains alignment and cultivates personal authority. Purposeful speech enhances leadership potential. Leaders are defined by their ability to inspire trust, motivate action, and model integrity. Words that match behavior signal competence, commitment, and reliability. Speaking without alignment undermines influence and diminishes respect, while consistent alignment builds confidence among peers and followers. Leadership, at its core, is reinforced through the interplay of clear communication and dependable action. Self-discipline strengthens the connection between words and actions. Avoid overpromising or committing impulsively. Consider capability, resources, and timing before making verbal commitments. Acting within realistic limits ensures that promises are kept and prevents the erosion of credibility. Each fulfilled commitment reinforces self-respect and reinforces the habit of purposeful speech. Purposeful communication enhances decision-making. Declaring intentions verbally clarifies priorities and creates a mental framework for action. Words serve as reminders of objectives and as anchors for accountability. When decisions are supported by consistent behavior, confidence and clarity increase. Conversely, speech without action fosters doubt, indecision, and a sense of fragmentation. Consistency in small interactions matters as much as major commitments. Everyday statements, casual promises, and minor assurances influence perception and self-trust. Each interaction is an opportunity to reinforce alignment and demonstrate integrity. Regular practice in small contexts strengthens the ability to maintain alignment in more consequential situations. Reflection improves the quality of speech and action alignment. Regularly review promises made, outcomes achieved, and gaps between verbal commitments and results. Analyze patterns and adjust communication strategies accordingly. Reflection ensures that speech continues to serve objectives and supports disciplined follow-through. Over time, this practice creates coherence between intentions, communication, and behavior. Purposeful speech supports long-term growth. Consistently aligning words with actions develops a reputation for reliability, competence, and integrity. It strengthens self-confidence and fosters productive collaboration. Individuals who cultivate this habit experience fewer conflicts, smoother interactions, and greater influence over circumstances. The habit reinforces identity, demonstrating that personal standards are more than abstract ideals, they are lived reality. Speaking with purpose and following through with consistent action transforms personal and professional life. Communication becomes intentional, measurable, and impactful. Alignment fosters trust, strengthens relationships, builds self-respect, and accelerates achievement. Each statement becomes an opportunity to reinforce identity, demonstrate reliability, and produce meaningful results. Mastery of this principle elevates behavior from reactive speech to deliberate influence, ensuring that words carry weight and actions confirm integrity. Chapter 50. Choose long-term improvement over short-term comfort daily. Choosing long-term improvement over short-term comfort is one of the most defining habits for success and personal growth. Life constantly presents options that feel easier, more convenient, or immediately rewarding, but these choices rarely lead to meaningful progress. Real achievement requires delaying gratification, enduring effort, and committing to actions that build skill, character, and resilience over time. Each decision to prioritize growth over comfort compounds into strength, knowledge, and opportunity. By consciously choosing improvement daily, you shape a future that reflects purpose, discipline, and intentionality rather than one dictated by fleeting impulses or temporary ease. Long-term improvement starts with awareness of your patterns. Many people drift through life reacting to immediate desires without examining whether these behaviors serve larger goals. Recognizing moments when comfort tempts avoidance or procrastination allows you to pause and make deliberate choices. Awareness transforms automatic reactions into conscious decisions. Observing patterns of short-term comfort exposes areas where change is necessary and identifies habits that undermine long-term objectives. Discipline is essential for choosing improvement over comfort. Comfort is seductive because it feels effortless and risk-free, while growth often requires persistence, challenge, and discomfort. Discipline creates a bridge between intentions and action. It allows you to follow through on difficult tasks, endure temporary discomfort, and maintain consistent effort toward meaningful goals. Each act of discipline strengthens willpower and reinforces the habit of prioritizing improvement. Planning reinforces the choice of long-term growth. Setting clear objectives provides a framework for evaluating daily choices. When priorities are defined, actions can be measured against them, and decisions favoring long-term improvement become easier. Planning includes breaking down large goals into manageable steps that can be tackled consistently. Each step completed, though it may involve temporary sacrifice, contributes to cumulative progress. Persistence transforms small actions into substantial results. Long-term improvement is rarely immediate. It accumulates through repeated effort over time. Consistently making choices that favor growth, even when inconvenient, produces outcomes far beyond the reach of quick fixes or comfortable avoidance. Daily commitment to progress creates momentum, turning gradual effort into tangible achievement. Choosing improvement over comfort requires facing resistance. The mind and body naturally gravitate toward ease and avoidance of challenge. Recognizing this resistance as a signal of growth helps reframe discomfort as an essential part of development. Each moment of resistance overcome strengthens resilience, mental toughness, and self-confidence. Confronting resistance becomes a training ground for discipline and persistence. Sacrificing short-term comfort often means embracing discomfort, delayed rewards, and effortful learning. Whether in skill development, health, finances, or personal growth, meaningful results demand work that may feel unpleasant in the moment. Delayed gratification fosters patience, endurance, and foresight. Each choice to engage in effort rather than seek ease reinforces the ability to prioritize what matters most. Self-reflection enhances the ability to choose improvement. Assess decisions made throughout the day and identify moments when comfort overruled growth. Honest evaluation allows recognition of progress and areas for adjustment. Reflecting on these choices strengthens self-awareness, encourages accountability, and refines judgment in future situations. Over time, reflection builds the habit of making deliberate, growth-oriented decisions. Daily habits determine long-term outcomes. Repeated choices for comfort create inertia that limits potential, while consistent actions for improvement compound into skill, knowledge, and character. Small, intentional behaviors executed daily, practicing a skill, exercising, learning, planning, or managing time, accumulate into remarkable change. The discipline to act consistently in favor of growth separates successful individuals from those who settle for convenience. Goal clarity reinforces prioritization of improvement. When the benefits of long-term growth are visible and meaningful, it becomes easier to endure temporary discomfort. Establishing specific, measurable objectives provides motivation and direction. Knowing what you are working toward creates a framework for evaluating choices and resisting distractions. Goals act as a compass, guiding daily actions toward results that matter. Accountability strengthens commitment to long-term improvement. Sharing goals, tracking progress, or using self-monitoring tools ensures actions remain aligned with objectives. Accountability reduces the tendency to choose comfort at critical moments and reinforces responsibility for results. By consistently evaluating performance and responding with corrective action, the habit of prioritizing improvement solidifies over time. Preparation increases the likelihood of choosing growth over ease. Organizing resources, planning steps, and anticipating challenges reduces the friction that makes comfort appealing. When effort is structured and obstacles are anticipated, the path to improvement becomes more manageable. Preparation ensures that the choice for growth is achievable and less overwhelming, reinforcing consistency in action. Mindset shapes the willingness to endure temporary discomfort. Viewing challenges as opportunities for learning and growth transforms effort into a meaningful pursuit rather than an unpleasant obligation. Belief in the value of improvement sustains motivation, even when immediate comfort tempts avoidance. A growth-oriented mindset makes it easier to embrace difficulty and persist toward long-term goals. Consistency amplifies impact. Choosing improvement once or sporadically produces minimal results, while habitual commitment compounds over weeks, months, and years. Each day presents choices that, when made intentionally, accumulate into significant progress. Consistent preference for growth over comfort ensures that effort is effective, measurable, and aligned with long-term objectives. Time management is critical. Comfort often masquerades as productivity, diverting attention to low-value or easy tasks. Prioritizing actions that contribute meaningfully to goals ensures that each day moves you closer to desired outcomes. Efficient use of time reduces the temptation to choose ease at the expense of progress. Structuring the day around growth-focused activity reinforces deliberate action. Resilience supports enduring discomfort. Choosing long-term improvement requires the ability to persist through frustration, setbacks, and temporary failure. Each challenge faced and overcome strengthens endurance, problem-solving ability, and confidence. Resilience allows consistent action despite obstacles, ensuring that long-term goals are pursued with determination rather than abandoned for convenience. Evaluating results reinforces learning. Observing progress clarifies the benefits of choosing improvement over comfort. When effort produces tangible gains, it strengthens motivation and commitment to continued action. Tracking results makes the value of discipline visible, creating a feedback loop that reinforces the habit of prioritizing growth. Long-term improvement nurtures self-respect. Each decision to act purposefully rather than succumb to temporary comfort demonstrates integrity, accountability, and commitment to personal standards. Repeated choices in favor of growth reinforce identity, confidence, and self-trust. The daily practice of prioritizing what matters most shapes character and life trajectory. Flexibility supports progress without compromising goals. While comfort may lure avoidance, strategic adaptation allows adjustment of methods without abandoning long-term objectives. Being flexible in approach but unwavering in commitment to improvement ensures that growth continues even in changing circumstances. Adaptation strengthens persistence, efficiency, and resourcefulness. Choosing improvement over comfort transforms life through compounding effort, deliberate decision-making, and disciplined action. Each day, every choice, and every moment presents an opportunity to invest in the future self. By consistently prioritizing long-term benefit over immediate ease, you create momentum, skill, resilience, and achievement. The daily habit of choosing growth shapes a life defined by purpose, accomplishment, and enduring personal strength. Chapter 16c. Build self-trust through preparation, planning, and follow-through. Building self-trust is one of the most critical foundations for personal growth, confidence, and consistent success. It is not something that is granted by others or achieved instantly. It is earned through deliberate preparation, thoughtful planning, and consistent follow-through. Trusting yourself means believing that when you set an intention, you will execute it with integrity, discipline, and reliability. Without self-trust, doubt governs decisions, hesitation undermines action, and momentum toward meaningful goals slows. Developing this trust begins by treating your own word with respect, approaching tasks with seriousness, and creating systems that ensure promises to yourself are fulfilled consistently. Preparation is the first step in building self-trust. Approaching any goal or responsibility without adequate preparation invites uncertainty, error, and stress. By anticipating challenges, gathering the necessary resources, and clarifying expectations, you reduce the likelihood of failure and demonstrate competence to yourself. Preparation also signals respect for your own time, energy, and potential. Each time you prepare thoroughly, you reinforce the belief that you can handle responsibility and succeed under pressure. Planning extends preparation by providing structure and clarity. A plan is a roadmap that transforms abstract intentions into actionable steps. Without it, good intentions remain vague, and self-doubt grows. Planning allows you to prioritize tasks, allocate energy efficiently, and create a timeline for achieving goals. It reduces uncertainty and empowers decision-making, ensuring that every choice contributes meaningfully to objectives. When you plan effectively, you create a framework that supports consistent follow-through and cultivates confidence in your ability to execute. Follow-through is the ultimate test of self-trust. Making a plan and preparing are important, but unless action is taken and commitments are honored, trust in oneself remains superficial. Follow-through demonstrates reliability and reinforces the internal belief that you are capable of delivering on promises. Each completed action, no matter how small, strengthens the foundation of self-trust, proving repeatedly that your intentions can be translated into results. Consistency amplifies the impact of preparation, planning, and follow-through. Sporadic execution fails to build lasting trust, whereas disciplined repetition establishes a reliable track record. Daily and weekly practices that honor commitments, adhere to schedules, and complete tasks create a pattern of dependability. Over time, consistency converts self-trust from an aspirational concept into an automatic mindset where action naturally aligns with intention. Accountability enhances self-trust. Holding yourself responsible for both successes and failures creates a feedback loop that promotes improvement and integrity. Tracking tasks, reviewing outcomes, and assessing whether actions met expectations ensures that promises to yourself are not abstract ideas but observable achievements. Accountability prevents rationalization or avoidance and reinforces a mindset of ownership, reliability, and self-respect. Self-trust is reinforced through realistic goal setting. Establish objectives that are challenging but achievable. Overcommitting leads to missed deadlines and broken promises which erode trust. Thoughtful assessment of capabilities, resources, and time ensures that commitments are both meaningful and attainable. Successfully achieving planned objectives strengthens confidence, demonstrating that your judgment and preparation produce reliable results. Preparation, planning, and follow-through also strengthen decision-making. When you consistently act according to a structured approach, the mind becomes confident in evaluating options, anticipating obstacles, and selecting effective strategies. Repeated experience of executing decisions successfully builds a sense of competence and reduces anxiety in future choices. Self-trust emerges as a natural outcome of repeated positive reinforcement through action. Time management supports the development of self-trust. Proper scheduling ensures that tasks receive adequate focus and are completed on time. Efficient allocation of time reflects respect for commitments and reduces the risk of procrastination or oversight. By managing time effectively, you demonstrate reliability to yourself, reinforcing confidence in your ability to follow through under constraints. Preparation involves mental readiness as well as logistical planning. Anticipating potential difficulties, visualizing execution, and rehearsing responses cultivates focus and resilience. Mental rehearsal allows the mind to anticipate challenges and develop strategies, reducing hesitation when confronted with real-world obstacles. Confidence grows as you learn that careful preparation leads to smooth execution, which strengthens trust in your own judgment and capabilities. Self-trust also benefits from reflection on past experiences. Reviewing successes and failures provides insight into patterns of behavior, strengths, and areas requiring improvement. Understanding what worked and what did not informs future preparation, planning, and execution. Reflection consolidates lessons, ensures continuous growth, and reinforces the reliability of your own decisions and actions. Discipline is the backbone of follow-through. Acting according to plans even when motivation wanes or external conditions are challenging demonstrates commitment and strengthens self-confidence. The ability to maintain focus, resist distraction, and honor responsibilities under pressure is a tangible measure of self-trust. Discipline converts intention into action, bridging the gap between desire and achievement. Small wins build cumulative self-trust. Each completed task, adherence to a schedule, or successful execution of a plan validates your competence. Over time, these consistent achievements create an internal proof system showing that you can rely on yourself. Recognizing and celebrating progress reinforces this belief and motivates continued adherence to disciplined habits. Flexibility within structured planning ensures that follow-through remains effective even in dynamic situations. Unforeseen challenges or changing circumstances may require adjustments, but adapting plans while maintaining commitment preserves trust in your own capacity to manage complexity. Self-trust grows when you can navigate variability with confidence, demonstrating both preparation and judgment in action. Clear communication with yourself supports self-trust. Defining intentions, priorities, and standards in writing or verbally ensures that commitments are explicit and measurable. Vagueness undermines follow-through and allows excuses to take hold. Clarity strengthens accountability, directs energy efficiently, and reinforces belief in your ability to execute consistently. Preparation, planning, and follow-through also cultivate patience. Building trust in yourself does not happen instantly. It develops over time through repeated demonstration of competence and reliability. Recognizing that effort invested consistently produces results reduces frustration and promotes perseverance. Patience allows the development of self-trust to proceed steadily, reinforced by tangible accomplishments. Self-trust is strengthened when preparation, planning, and follow-through are integrated into daily routines. Repetition builds habit, reduces reliance on external validation, and creates automatic alignment between intention and action. When this process becomes habitual, trust in your own ability to manage tasks, make decisions, and meet commitments becomes an intrinsic part of identity. Integrity is reinforced through consistent execution. When actions align with intentions, promises, and plans, self-respect grows. Integrity signals that you are reliable, competent, and capable of handling responsibility. Over time, repeated demonstration of integrity through preparation, planning, and follow-through establishes a solid foundation of self-trust that supports success in all areas of life. Challenges and setbacks are opportunities to reinforce self-trust. Responding to difficulties with preparation, strategic adjustment, and disciplined follow-through demonstrates resilience. Successfully navigating obstacles proves to yourself that competence is consistent, not conditional on ease or comfort. Each challenge overcome strengthens confidence in your ability to act reliably regardless of circumstances. Building self-trust is transformative. It shapes decision-making, strengthens resilience, amplifies confidence, and cultivates reliability in personal and professional life. Through deliberate preparation, careful planning, and consistent follow-through, you create a dependable relationship with yourself. This internal trust becomes the foundation for achievement, influence, and personal fulfillment. The daily habit of honoring commitments to oneself produces competence, discipline, and a deep sense of assurance that empowers action, even in the face of uncertainty. Chapter 7. To see and act decisively even when confidence feels incomplete. Acting decisively even when confidence feels incomplete is a defining characteristic of those who achieve meaningful progress and long-term success. Waiting for complete certainty or absolute assurance often results in stagnation, missed opportunities, and self-doubt. True growth comes from embracing the discomfort of uncertainty, acknowledging incomplete knowledge, and choosing action anyway. Each decision made under these conditions strengthens resilience, sharpens judgment, and gradually builds the confidence that was initially absent. The process of taking action in spite of hesitation demonstrates courage, reinforces competence, and teaches that mastery often emerges from doing rather than waiting. Decision-making in conditions of uncertainty requires clarity of purpose. Understanding your goals, values, and priorities provides a framework for action even when full confidence is lacking. Purpose acts as a compass, guiding choices when doubt arises. By defining the desired outcome before acting, you create direction, reduce hesitation, and prevent indecision from paralyzing progress. Clarity about what matters ensures that even imperfect actions remain aligned with long-term objectives. Preparation reduces the risk of inaction, but it does not eliminate uncertainty entirely. Acting decisively is not about reckless spontaneity. It is about balancing preparedness with willingness to move forward despite gaps in knowledge or confidence. Assess what information is essential, gather it efficiently, and accept that complete certainty is rarely possible. Trusting your judgment in these conditions strengthens decision-making skills and develops a habit of proactive execution. Action under incomplete confidence builds self-reliance. Each time you make a choice and move forward without full assurance, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of handling consequences. The experience gained through action is a powerful teacher, often providing insights that theoretical preparation cannot. Self-reliance emerges naturally as repeated decisions demonstrate your capacity to respond, adapt, and succeed even when certainty is lacking. Recognizing the role of fear in hesitation is crucial. Fear of making the wrong choice, of failure, or of judgment often masquerades as a lack of confidence. Acting decisively requires acknowledging fear, but refusing to let it dictate behavior. Fear is a signal to proceed with awareness, not a barrier to action. By confronting fear through deliberate movement, you expand comfort zones, strengthen courage, and reinforce confidence through experience. Incremental action mitigates risk while fostering decisiveness. Large or complex decisions can be broken into smaller, manageable steps that allow testing, adjustment, and learning. Acting in increments reduces the paralysis that arises from perceived uncertainty and provides opportunities to gather feedback along the way. Each step taken, even when small, reinforces the habit of decisively moving forward and builds confidence gradually. Commitment is the foundation of decisive action. Once a decision is made, invest fully in its execution. Hesitation, second-guessing, or wavering undermines both results and self-trust. Commitment transforms uncertainty into motivation, creating momentum that sustains action despite incomplete confidence. The act of following through reinforces competence and establishes a track record of reliability in the face of doubt. Reflection enhances the effectiveness of decisive action. After executing a choice, evaluate the outcome, identify lessons learned, and adjust future behavior. Reflection is not a substitute for action, but a complement that strengthens judgment over time. By learning from both successes and mistakes, you cultivate a mindset that values experience over hesitation and reinforces the capacity to act decisively even under uncertainty. Preparation for decisiveness involves anticipating potential challenges. Consider possible obstacles, risks, and consequences before acting, and develop strategies to manage them. Forethought reduces paralyzing anxiety, enhances confidence in execution, and ensures that decisions are informed rather than impulsive. Being ready for contingencies allows action to proceed with focus and composure. Trust in your own adaptability supports decisive action. Confidence is often incomplete because the future is uncertain, but the ability to adjust to changing circumstances allows action without hesitation. Flexibility ensures that missteps do not become failures but opportunities to learn and correct course. Knowing that adaptation is possible reduces fear and strengthens the willingness to act decisively. Decisive action strengthens momentum. Prolonged hesitation erodes energy, focus, and initiative, while action generates movement that propels further progress. Each decision executed builds confidence incrementally, making subsequent choices easier and more assured. Momentum created by action often exceeds the benefits of waiting for certainty, producing tangible results even in the face of initial doubt. Decision fatigue can hinder decisive action. Streamline choices where possible to conserve mental energy for high-impact decisions. Establish routines, systems, and priorities that simplify everyday actions. Reducing the cognitive load frees focus for critical decisions and allows confidence to grow through repeated successful execution. Efficiency in decision-making complements the practice of acting decisively under uncertainty. Accountability reinforces decisiveness. Sharing intentions with others or using tracking mechanisms increases commitment and reduces the tendency to delay action. Accountability encourages movement despite incomplete confidence and strengthens the habit of following through on decisions. Observing progress and being responsible for outcomes cultivates trust in your own judgment and ability to act reliably. Decisive action develops resilience. Each step taken despite doubt builds tolerance for discomfort and uncertainty. Exposure to risk without avoidance strengthens confidence, reinforces problem-solving ability, and reduces fear of failure. Resilience is cultivated not in ease, but in the repeated practice of moving forward, even when confidence feels insufficient. Decisiveness requires clarity of criteria. Establish standards for action that define acceptable risk and reasonable outcomes. When criteria are clear, hesitation caused by uncertainty diminishes. Decisions become grounded in logic, values, and priorities rather than emotion or fear. Clear criteria provide a reference point, enabling action to proceed with confidence despite incomplete certainty. Experience compounds competence. Each decisive action taken adds knowledge, skill, and awareness. The more situations you confront, the better you understand outcomes, consequences, and your own capacity to manage uncertainty. Acting despite incomplete confidence accelerates learning and fosters mastery faster than waiting for perfect conditions. Avoiding perfectionism is essential. Waiting until every detail is aligned or every variable is known prevents progress. Decisive action embraces imperfection as an opportunity for growth. Accepting that mistakes may occur allows movement to begin, and learning from outcomes strengthens judgment and future confidence. Perfectionism undermines progress, while action fosters competence and self-trust. Taking responsibility for outcomes enhances the impact of decisive action. When action is taken despite doubt, ownership of results, whether positive or negative, builds maturity, accountability, and insight. Responsibility reinforces self-trust, develops integrity, and ensures that hesitation does not erode confidence over time. Acting decisively is ultimately a habit cultivated through repeated practice. Each choice executed, risk confronted, and uncertainty embraced strengthens the ability to act with confidence in future situations. Over time, decisiveness becomes a default mode, and incomplete confidence no longer paralyzes action. The daily practice of moving forward despite hesitation produces competence, resilience, and consistent achievement, transforming doubt into a source of learning and empowerment. Chapter 18Z. Review each day and commit to better decisions tomorrow. Reviewing each day and committing to better decisions tomorrow is a transformative habit that separates those who drift through life from those who continuously improve. Daily reflection allows clarity, awareness, and intentionality to guide behavior rather than habit or impulse. Each day presents choices, actions, and outcomes that contain lessons, patterns, and opportunities for growth. By examining them thoughtfully, individuals develop insight into what worked, what failed, and what can be adjusted for greater effectiveness. This practice builds self-awareness, strengthens decision-making, and establishes a cycle of consistent improvement. Reflection begins with honesty. Evaluating the day requires looking at actions, choices, and results without excuses, rationalizations, or blame. Self-deception undermines growth, while truthfulness illuminates areas for improvement. Honest assessment includes both successes and failures, noting patterns of behavior that either support or hinder objectives. By acknowledging shortcomings and achievements alike, you create a clear foundation for learning and informed decision-making. Identifying patterns is essential during daily review. Repeated behaviors, reactions, or outcomes reveal tendencies that may not be obvious in the moment. Some patterns support progress, while others create obstacles. Recognizing these trends allows intentional intervention, adjustment of habits, and strategic focus on high-impact actions. Over time, pattern recognition accelerates learning and ensures that decisions become increasingly effective. Tracking progress enhances reflection. Recording actions, outcomes, and decisions creates a tangible record of performance. Journals, notes, or digital tools help visualize achievements and areas needing attention. Tracking provides feedback that is both immediate and cumulative, offering insights that guide better decision-making tomorrow. Documentation also reinforces accountability, ensuring that reflection translates into action rather than remaining theoretical. Daily review strengthens self-awareness. Awareness of choices and consequences allows you to distinguish between productive and counterproductive behaviors. Understanding personal strengths, weaknesses, and tendencies enables intentional adjustments. Self-awareness also fosters emotional regulation, ensuring that impulsive decisions or reactions are minimized in the future. By consistently observing actions, you create a feedback loop that cultivates clarity and control over behavior. Committing to better decisions tomorrow requires clear intention. Reflection alone is insufficient without a forward-looking plan. Identify specific actions, adjustments, or behaviors that will improve outcomes in the coming day. A concrete commitment bridges insight and execution, transforming lessons into measurable change. The act of committing reinforces accountability and builds confidence in the ability to influence future results. Prioritization ensures that daily reflection produces meaningful improvement. Identify the most significant choices and actions that influenced outcomes and focus attention on areas that create the greatest impact. Avoid expending energy analyzing trivial matters and concentrate on decisions that shape long-term progress. Prioritization directs focus, maximizes learning, and ensures that tomorrow's actions are guided by high-value insights. Daily reflection also fosters adaptability. Life is unpredictable and circumstances change frequently. Reviewing past actions allows recalibration and adjustment of strategies to meet evolving challenges. Flexibility combined with reflection ensures that decisions remain relevant effective, and aligned with objectives despite shifting conditions. Adaptation strengthens resilience and confidence in navigating complexity. Accountability enhances the practice of review. Holding oneself responsible for choices and results strengthens self-discipline and integrity. Accountability can be internal through honest self-assessment or external by sharing reflections and commitments with trusted individuals. Knowing that actions are observed and measured motivates more thoughtful decisions and reinforces consistency in applying lessons learned. Reflection encourages problem-solving skills. Reviewing challenges and failures illuminates underlying causes and points toward solutions. It allows proactive identification of obstacles before they escalate, ensuring that similar issues are addressed effectively in the future. Problem-solving becomes a natural extension of daily reflection, improving judgment and decision-making over time. Celebrating successes is equally important. Reflection should not focus solely on mistakes or shortcomings. Recognizing achievements reinforces positive behavior, motivates continued effort, and balances perspective. Celebrating wins, no matter how small, strengthens confidence, fosters gratitude, and encourages persistence in pursuing goals. Balanced reflection builds both accountability and morale. Time management benefits from daily review. Assessing how time was spent reveals efficiency, wasted effort, or opportunities for improvement. Insights from evaluation guide better allocation of focus and energy tomorrow. Adjusting schedules, prioritizing high-value activities, and eliminating distractions ensures that each day contributes meaningfully to long-term objectives. Effective time use reinforces the impact of deliberate decision-making. Reflection nurtures emotional intelligence. Observing emotional responses to situations and choices develops awareness of triggers, reactions, and coping strategies. Understanding emotions allows more deliberate and constructive behavior in the future. Emotional intelligence strengthens decision-making, reduces conflict, and promotes resilience under stress. It also fosters more thoughtful and intentional actions in both personal and professional contexts. Commitment to improvement builds momentum. Each day's review informs adjustments that compound over time, producing significant growth. Incremental change may seem small, but consistency creates cumulative advantage. Committing daily to better choices ensures that learning translates into habitual action, strengthening competence, self-trust, and results. Momentum reinforces confidence and reinforces the habit of continuous self-improvement. Reflection cultivates clarity of values and priorities. Evaluating decisions against personal principles ensures alignment with long-term goals. Choices inconsistent with values highlight areas for adjustment, while alignment reinforces purpose and direction. Clarifying priorities during daily review supports intentional action, reduces distraction, and strengthens the ability to act decisively when faced with competing demands. Daily review encourages self-discipline. A structured practice of reflecting, evaluating, and committing requires focus, honesty, and persistence. Self-discipline ensures that reflection is not superficial, but translates into actionable adjustments. Each disciplined review reinforces control over behavior, reduces impulsivity, and strengthens commitment to growth. Habitual discipline produces consistency in performance and quality of decisions. Anticipating obstacles through reflection prepares for more effective action tomorrow. By reviewing difficulties and missteps, you can anticipate similar challenges and develop strategies to handle them proactively. Preparation based on reflection reduces hesitation, enhances confidence, and improves the likelihood of successful outcomes. Anticipation ensures that tomorrow's decisions are deliberate rather than reactive. Reflection fosters learning agility. Observing results, analyzing choices, and implementing improvements encourages adaptability and continuous skill development. Learning becomes an active, iterative process rather than passive experience. Individuals who review daily decisions develop sharper judgment, faster problem-solving, and the ability to apply lessons effectively in new contexts. Long-term growth emerges from the cumulative effect of daily review. Small adjustments, informed decisions, and consistent application of insights create meaningful transformation over time. Each day becomes a building block for progress, and the habit of reflection ensures that growth is intentional, measured, and sustained. Daily review transforms experience into actionable wisdom that compounds into competence and mastery. Committing to better decisions tomorrow is an act of self-respect. It demonstrates accountability, responsibility, and a desire to improve. Each intentional choice reinforces identity, builds confidence, and strengthens the ability to influence outcomes. By reviewing each day and committing to progress, you establish a disciplined cycle of learning, application, and continuous improvement that shapes a life of purpose, achievement, and personal excellence. Chapter 9 Lead yourself with integrity, patience, and consistent effort. Leading yourself with integrity, patience, and consistent effort is one of the most powerful habits for achieving meaningful success and personal mastery. Leadership begins within. Before you can inspire, influence, or guide others, you must demonstrate the ability to govern your own actions, decisions, and mindset with clarity and discipline. Integrity, patience, and consistent effort form the foundation of self-leadership because they ensure alignment between intentions, behaviors, and outcomes. When you lead yourself effectively, every choice becomes deliberate, every action purposeful, and every effort accumulates into tangible progress. Integrity is the cornerstone of self-leadership. It requires unwavering honesty with yourself, adherence to personal values, and the courage to act in alignment with your principles, even when it is uncomfortable or inconvenient. Integrity is not conditional on external observation. It is demonstrated in private actions, decisions, and commitments. Leading with integrity strengthens self-respect, reinforces trust in your own judgment, and reduces internal conflict. Each decision made in alignment with your values creates consistency, builds credibility, and fosters confidence in navigating complex situations. Patience complements integrity by enabling you to endure challenges, delays, and setbacks without abandoning purpose. Growth, mastery, and achievement rarely happen instantly. Impulsiveness or frustration can derail progress and lead to short-sighted decisions. Patience allows you to observe processes, trust gradual improvement, and maintain composure under pressure. By practicing patience, you ensure that actions are measured, thoughtful, and aligned with long-term objectives rather than driven by immediate desires or discomfort. Consistent effort transforms vision into results. Even the clearest principles and strongest patience yield little without persistent action. Leadership of self requires daily execution, repetition of productive behaviors, and commitment to moving steadily toward defined goals. Consistency compounds over time, producing results that often surpass initial expectations. Each deliberate effort reinforces habits, strengthens resilience, and demonstrates reliability to yourself. The cumulative effect of consistent effort is the difference between aspiration and achievement. Self-awareness is essential in leading yourself. Understanding your strengths, weaknesses, triggers, and motivations enables better alignment between actions and intentions. Awareness allows you to recognize when impulses, distractions, or negative habits threaten progress and provides the insight needed to correct course. By observing thoughts and behaviors objectively, you can act deliberately rather than reactively, strengthening the ability to lead yourself with integrity and patience. Decision-making is enhanced through self-leadership. When integrity guides choices, patience tempers impulsivity, and consistent effort ensures follow-through, decisions become more effective and reliable. Leading yourself requires taking responsibility for both outcomes and processes, evaluating results honestly, and adjusting strategies when necessary. Each thoughtful decision reinforces competence and develops confidence in navigating uncertainty. Accountability is integral to leading yourself effectively. Accepting responsibility for actions, outcomes, and behaviors fosters ownership and reduces the tendency to blame circumstances or others. Holding yourself accountable ensures that integrity is maintained, effort remains consistent, and patience is applied constructively. Accountability strengthens self-trust and ensures that leadership is not theoretical but actively demonstrated in everyday behavior. Self-leadership also involves the ability to set clear boundaries. Protecting your time, energy, and focus ensures that your actions reflect priorities rather than reactive responses to external demands. Boundaries support consistency, maintain alignment with values, and and prevent compromises that erode integrity. By controlling what you allow into your life, you create an environment conducive to disciplined, patient, and productive effort. Resilience grows naturally from leading yourself with integrity, patience, and consistent effort. Challenges, setbacks, and failures become opportunities to practice principles rather than reasons to abandon them. Each obstacle faced strengthens resolve, sharpens judgment, and reinforces the habit of disciplined action. Resilience ensures that progress continues even under difficulty, reinforcing confidence in your ability to lead yourself effectively. Focus is enhanced through deliberate self-leadership. By establishing clear goals, prioritizing meaningful work, and maintaining attention on high-impact actions, you reduce distractions and unnecessary effort. Leading yourself requires clarity of purpose and disciplined application of energy. Consistent focus ensures that daily actions contribute to long-term objectives and reinforces the alignment between effort and intention. Reflection strengthens the practice of self-leadership. Reviewing actions, decisions, and outcomes provides insight into what worked, what failed, and what can be improved. Honest reflection encourages continuous learning, prevents repetition of mistakes, and ensures that each day contributes to growth. Reflection combined with integrity, patience, and effort creates a feedback loop that accelerates competence and strengthens self-governance. Preparation amplifies effectiveness in leading yourself. Anticipating challenges, planning steps, and organizing resources reduces uncertainty and facilitates disciplined action. Preparation ensures that effort is strategic, patience is maintained under pressure, and decisions remain aligned with core values. By investing time in preparation, you demonstrate foresight and reinforce consistency in execution. Emotional regulation is a critical component of self-leadership. Maintaining composure under stress, managing frustration, and avoiding reactive impulses allows decisions and actions to remain principled and productive. Emotional control supports patience, reinforces integrity, and ensures that consistent effort is applied even when external circumstances are difficult. Self-leadership requires mastery of emotions as well as actions. Continuous learning strengthens the ability to lead yourself. Seeking knowledge, developing skills, and expanding perspective enhances judgment and decision-making. Learning improves confidence in your ability to act, deepens understanding of effective strategies, and supports disciplined application of effort. A commitment to personal growth ensures that leadership evolves with experience and remains effective over time. Persistence reinforces self-leadership by converting temporary setbacks into long-term progress. Each act of perseverance, especially in the face of difficulty or uncertainty, strengthens the habit of consistent effort. Persistence demonstrates commitment to principles and goals, reinforces integrity in action, and nurtures patience by reminding you that progress often unfolds gradually. Integrity, patience, and consistent effort are interdependent in self-leadership. Integrity guides decisions and behavior, patience sustains persistence during challenges, and consistent effort transforms intention into tangible results. When these three principles are practiced together, they create a powerful cycle of growth, reliability, and mastery. Each reinforces the other, producing compounding benefits over time. Leading yourself also requires humility. Acknowledging limitations, accepting feedback, and remaining open to improvement strengthens judgment and ensures that leadership is grounded in reality. Humility prevents arrogance, supports reflection, and enables adaptation while maintaining integrity and consistent effort. True self-leadership is both confident and aware of its own fallibility. Time invested in leading yourself produces exponential returns. Every decision made with integrity, every effort applied consistently, and every challenge met with patience builds character, competence, and credibility. The accumulation of disciplined action, principled behavior, and thoughtful persistence shapes a life defined by purpose, capability, and influence. Self-leadership ensures that progress is intentional, sustainable, and deeply rooted in personal standards. Leading yourself with integrity, patience, and consistent effort transforms both personal and professional life. It creates a reliable foundation for decision-making, fosters resilience in adversity, and ensures that every action contributes meaningfully to long-term objectives. By committing to these principles daily, you cultivate trust in yourself, mastery of your behavior, and the ability to achieve sustained, meaningful success. Chapter 20. Faye. Honor your potential by showing up fully every day. Honoring your potential by showing up fully every day is the ultimate commitment to personal growth, self-respect, and long-term success. Potential is not realized through occasional effort or passive hope. It is expressed through deliberate, consistent engagement with every task, decision, and interaction. Each day presents a choice to approach life with full presence and intention, or to drift through routines without meaningful engagement. Choosing to show up fully demonstrates respect for your own abilities, values, and aspirations, while creating momentum toward the person you are capable of becoming. Showing up fully begins with awareness. Recognizing the opportunities and responsibilities each day presents ensures that effort is intentional rather than reactionary. Awareness allows you to focus on what matters most and allocate energy where it has the greatest impact. It requires observing your environment, understanding your goals, and identifying the actions that will advance progress. By cultivating mindfulness in every moment, you ensure that your potential is honored rather than squandered through distraction or apathy. Presence amplifies effectiveness. Being fully engaged in tasks, conversations, and decisions allows for better performance, deeper connections, and more thoughtful problem-solving. Partial attention produces partial results, while full commitment creates meaningful outcomes. Showing up fully requires concentration, focus, and discipline. Each time you dedicate your complete attention to a task, you reinforce competence, strengthen habits, and accelerate growth. Consistency is critical in honoring potential. Sporadic bursts of effort create fleeting progress, while daily commitment produces compounding results. Showing up fully every day establishes reliability, builds momentum, and reinforces self-trust. Each day's effort contributes incrementally to long-term objectives, transforming ambition into tangible achievement. The habit of consistent engagement strengthens confidence and demonstrates that your potential is not theoretical but actionable. Preparation supports the ability to show up fully. Anticipating challenges, planning priorities, and organizing resources ensures that attention and energy can be applied effectively. Preparedness reduces stress, increases clarity, and enables deliberate execution. By preparing thoughtfully, you honor your potential through strategic action rather than relying on chance or improvisation. Each prepared moment allows your full abilities to be expressed without compromise. Commitment to excellence drives the habit of showing up fully. Striving for quality in every action, no matter how small, reflects respect for personal standards and potential. Excellence is a mindset, not a destination. Demonstrating commitment in ordinary tasks builds the discipline and focus needed to tackle larger challenges. Each decision to act with care and intentionality reinforces the value you place on your own capabilities. Energy management is essential for full engagement. Physical, mental, and emotional resources must be cultivated and maintained to show up consistently at a high level. Adequate rest, nutrition, exercise, and mental focus ensure that you can apply yourself fully each day. Recognizing energy as a finite resource encourages intentional allocation, preventing burnout and maximizing impact. Honoring your potential requires sustaining the capacity to perform consistently over time. Accountability reinforces daily commitment. Holding yourself responsible for showing up fully strengthens discipline and self-respect. Tracking progress, evaluating effort, and acknowledging areas for improvement ensure that intentions translate into action. Accountability creates a feedback loop where effort is measured, lessons are learned, and behavior is refined. Each day's reflection informs tomorrow's engagement, reinforcing continuous growth. Courage supports showing up fully, particularly when tasks are challenging, outcomes uncertain, or effort uncomfortable. Growth rarely occurs in zones of ease or certainty. Facing difficulty with presence and commitment strengthens resilience, sharpens problem-solving skills, and demonstrates belief in your own potential. Courage ensures that fear or doubt does not limit action and that your best effort is applied even in demanding circumstances. Self-awareness enhances the practice of honoring potential. Observing thoughts, emotions, and behaviors allows adjustments to align with intention and capability. Recognizing when focus drifts, energy wanes, or motivation falters provides opportunities to correct course. Awareness ensures that effort is directed effectively, reducing wasted energy and reinforcing meaningful engagement with tasks, goals, and relationships. Intentionality transforms ordinary actions into expressions of potential. Every decision, task, and interaction becomes an opportunity to exercise competence, creativity, and character. Acting with intention ensures that effort is meaningful, purposeful, and aligned with long-term objectives. Showing up fully is not limited to extraordinary moments. It is cultivated in consistent, deliberate engagement with daily responsibilities. Reflection enhances the habit of showing up fully. Reviewing each day to evaluate effort, focus, and results provides insight into areas for improvement and reinforces accountability. Honest assessment ensures that strengths are leveraged and weaknesses addressed. Reflection allows for course correction, strengthens self-trust, and ensures that each subsequent day offers the opportunity to engage more completely with potential. Resilience is reinforced through consistent full engagement. Challenges, setbacks, and unforeseen obstacles are inevitable, but showing up fully ensures that progress continues despite adversity. Each act of perseverance strengthens confidence, sharpens judgment, and reinforces the ability to apply maximum effort under pressure. Resilience ensures that potential is expressed not only in ease but also in difficulty. Prioritization ensures that attention is applied where it produces the greatest impact. Identifying high-value tasks, meaningful goals, and critical decisions allows energy and focus to be directed effectively. Prioritization prevents dilution of effort, reduces overwhelm, and ensures that engagement aligns with long-term objectives. Showing up fully requires directing presence toward what matters most rather than scattering effort across distractions. Discipline enables consistency in showing up fully, developing routines, habits, and structures that support focus, effort, and accountability ensures that engagement is maintained even when motivation fluctuates. Discipline converts intention into action, reduces reliance on fleeting willpower, and reinforces the ability to express potential consistently. Over time, disciplined habits compound into significant growth and achievement. Emotional intelligence supports full engagement. Recognizing and managing emotions ensures that responses remain intentional rather than reactive. Emotional regulation allows focus to be maintained, relationships to be strengthened, and decision-making to be rational and effective. Demonstrating emotional maturity enhances the quality of effort applied, ensuring that potential is honored in a holistic and sustainable way. Learning and growth are enhanced by showing up fully. Active engagement with challenges, feedback, and experiences accelerates skill development and insight. Each moment of deliberate effort becomes an opportunity to acquire knowledge, refine ability, and expand capacity. Honoring potential is inseparable from the ongoing commitment to learn, adapt, and improve continuously. Gratitude and purpose strengthen daily commitment. Recognizing the opportunities available and valuing the capacity to act creates intrinsic motivation to engage fully. Purpose provides direction, meaning, and energy, while gratitude reinforces the significance of effort and achievement. Together, they ensure that each day is approached with intention and that potential is honored consistently. Showing up fully every day transforms potential into achievement. Each deliberate action, consistent effort, and mindful engagement compounds over time, producing results far beyond initial expectations. Honoring your potential is not a one-time act but a daily commitment to presence, discipline, and excellence. Through this practice, capability becomes reality, aspiration becomes tangible, and personal growth becomes unstoppable. By dedicating oneself to showing up fully, every decision, interaction, and effort becomes a reflection of personal standards and potential. This commitment ensures that energy, focus, and ability are aligned with purpose and long-term goals. Over time, the cumulative impact of consistent engagement produces mastery, resilience, and the realization of the full potential within. Each day becomes a deliberate step toward the highest version of yourself, and honoring your potential becomes a defining habit that shapes a life of achievement, meaning, and fulfillment.